I'll call this Bang Bang. Seriously? I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up. Pull up, bitch. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
Objection. Objection.
I will fuck you up. KO. Bang bang. I will fuck you up. You're a bitch, bro. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up. Right?
Yeah.
The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. Right?
Yeah.
The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. The bang bang, the bang bang.
Witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor, the Commonwealth call Trooper Michael Proctor to the stand. State your name and spell your last name for the jury.
Michael Proctor, Proctor.
You're a bitch, bro. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
I'm going to allow it.
I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
I'm going to allow it.
My name is Aidan Kearney, also known as Turtleboy.
He is a senior editor for Turtleboy Daily News.
I'm a big fan. We've broken hundreds of stories that the mainstream media won't touch.
Some blogger in Massachusetts who's getting to the bottom of this better than anybody.
Why is it Turtleboy that is covering such important issues? Where is the rest of the media?
You did not say that you were going to take my baby out of her vent and make him a transgender baby.
Stop it.
Don't you want to ask some questions? I know you do.
I do. I
know. People don't like the things that I say and want me to stop saying them, but I won't. I'm never going to stop. These are the kind of stories that must be told.
And I will not be intimidated. I will not be silenced. And we will continue on our journey for justice for John O'Keefe and for Karen Reed.
Tick, tick, boom. Noise. Go, baby, we bringing out toys. Boys, chop up the singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace, working, we serving the streets.
Karen Reed has supporters who've shown up in large numbers.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this. So it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. We be disturbing the peace, working, we serving the streets. About to go going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
This is the first time I think I've ever seen this. An outpouring of support for someone accused of murdering a Boston police officer. Unbelievable situation. Never seen anything like it.
Tick, tick, boom.
You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me?
We be disturbing the peace, working, we serving the streets. About to go going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. It's go, 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 go time.
Boom. What's up, turtle people? How's everyone out there doing tonight? Good? Good? Excellent. Welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your fearless host. My name is Aidan Kearney. You can call me Clarence Woods Emerson if you want. That's what I go by on Facebook. Follow me on there for my bus stop lives. Although I can't do that on the Clarence account for another couple weeks because I'm suspended. I did a blog about crackheads. They don't like that. That's bullying or something. So yeah, you could call me like old school turtle riders, as our followers, cult members are called. They used to call me Uncle Turtleboy. That's acceptable. Also acceptable and actually preferred is Dr. Turtleboy. You can also call me Daddy, which I understand for some people, might be a little bit weird, but you know what? We're here to have a good time. So I'm going to allow it. All right. Or you can call me A. Timothy Kearney when I'm solving mysteries in the woods in my leather jacket and getting to the bottom of true crime and solving murder mysteries like, not like M. William Phelps. He doesn't know shit. That guy's the biggest fucking loser, by the way. Enough about him. But you could call me Journalism Jesus. I don't care what you call me. Just be here every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. sharp. And make sure you guys smash that subscribe button for me. Because we're about to pass 104,000. What do we have for subs right now? It's picking up again. Let's see. We are currently at 103,968. So let's get to 104,000 right now. Can we do that? Is that too much to ask for? We got 3,300 people watching on YouTube right now. I bet you there's at least 32 of you. That'd be like 1 out of every 100 people that has not smashed that subscribe button. It don't cost nothing. Just hit it. Let's do it. Let's get to 104,000 right now. We're at 103,968. I'm talking to you. If you're one of the 32 people out there who's watching and hasn't hit that subscribe button, that's okay. But you can fix that right now. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button for me, will you? Let's refresh this. We lost one. Now we're down to 967. Let me refresh this. Try one more time. Come on. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Refresh. 975. Oh shit. We're 25 away from 104,000. 25 away. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Refresh. 980. We're 20 away. We are 20 away. We got how many people watching now? We got 3,700 people watching, and we only need 20 more people to smash that subscribe button to get us to 104,000. Let's do it. Right. 1, 2, 3. Refresh. 988. Oh, snap. We're 12 away. We are 12 subscribers away from 104,000 subscribers. Can we do it? Can we do it? If I hit the refresh, is it going to be 104? Is it going to happen? Let's find out right now. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Refresh. 997. We're 3 away. We are 3 subscribers away. We got 3,750 people watching right now. We need 3 more people to smash that subscribe button to get us to a clean 104,000. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Refresh. Boom. We did it. 104,000. We did it. And 10. 104,010. See how easy that was? There we go. Join the sex cult. You guys are in. Awesome. So anyway, welcome aboard. If it's your first time here, you're going to have a great time. I promise. This is not your average Karen Reed breakdown show. The show actually existed a long time before Karen Reed came around. It just didn't have quite the viewership that it does now. I'm not going to lie. I look back at some of the older episodes and I'm like, wow, the ratings were not nearly as good. I used to get on here during shows that have about, 300 to 400 people. And some of you watching right now might have been some of those, ride or die people, right? 300 or 400 people. I used to be mostly a writer, it was mostly on the website on tvdailynews.com. It's kind of switched. And mostly now I'm a YouTuber with a Twitter account. I was banned from Twitter for years. So just mostly write. And, I do the show supplementary. I would just kind of go over the ratchets of the week and stuff like that. But now it's like, I don't even need to write that much. I just come on here and now we do the recap. And, you can watch a recap of today's events anywhere. You know what I mean? I was watching earlier The Glare, and I was watching Runkle earlier, and I was watching Lawyer, and I was watching during the day itself, I'm watching Emily Baker and Melanie Little because they watch it live and they comment. So you can consume this shit anywhere. Like, I don't need to go and do a whole refresher, of the day and everything that happened. I'm going to get to the key parts, but it's more like here. It's more like you never know what's going to happen here. You never know what angle we're going to go down, what road we're going to go down. We're going to talk about shit that no one else is talking about. It's going to be a great time. And I hope you guys like the shirt. These are now available in the store. These things are pretty sweet, although the Bettero one might have been a little soon. We got to get him on the team first, but had to be done. But anyway, yeah. So welcome aboard. If you guys want to have your messages read out loud to the class tonight, you can. You can click at the top for a little thing called Turtle Chat. And when you do that, you can give whatever amount of money that you want to give. And you get to write a little message when that happens. And I will read your message out loud to the class. And yeah, it'll be dope. So let me go check it out right now if we have any Turtle Chats. Give me 1 second to pull some of these out. Yikes, hold on. Where'd it go? All right, here we go. All right, first up. Sandra gives $50 and goes, I love that Karen confirmed that the feds are still investigating the corrupt assholes. I think it was Fatso Morrissey's people that planted the rumor with the OUR. So this person's from England, I'm guessing. Who else would have the power to have that station's report this lie? So look at, let's talk about that, because I haven't really talked about it much. And I had so many people yesterday message me and they're like, we need to hear from you about this federal investigation. I think that people just wanted to hear from me, like, everything's going to be okay. I think they wanted to hear, because that's what you come to daddy for, right? You come to daddy to let you know that it's going to be okay. We're going to be fine. Everything's going to be good. Don't worry about it. It's not real. The monsters aren't real. The federal investigation is still going on. That's what you want me to say, right? Because that'll make you feel better and more secure. And I wouldn't lie to you. But that's also the thing, right? I wouldn't lie to you. So I cannot come on here and say something if I don't know as a fact it's true. And I don't know if that's true. I have no idea. All I know is that of all the mainstream media reporters, by far, the most reliable is Ted Daniel, by far. And the least susceptible to being used by the Commonwealth to advance their lies. Like, he is the least susceptible. Like, he's the best. Like, he just did an awesome sit down with Karen Reed. So it's really, here's the exact wording that he used, right? All right, let's pull this up here. The exact wording in his story is as follows. So the headline is 25 investigates. Federal investigation of Karen Reed case is over, sources say. Over. And it says, now this is it. Let me just send this to myself so we can pull it up on the big screen and read it together as a class. All right. Where'd it go? All right. Let's see what we got here. Timeout. The heat in here is fucking crazy. Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right. I don't know if it's just me. It's a little hot in here, but let's pull this up, shall we? All right. Nope, wrong one. Nope. Wait. Yeah, this one. Okay, cool. So check it. Nope. That's not the one we want. We want this one. All right. So it says here, 2 sources briefed on conversations that occurred in the United States Attorney's Office in Boston and state and local law enforcement tell 25 investigates that the federal probe of the Kearney murder case has officially ended. So what do we got here? 2 sources. Okay, what are the sources? Briefed. So 2 people who were briefed, aka told about conversations that occurred between the United States Attorney's Office and state and local law enforcement tell 25 investigates that the federal probe has ended. So 2 people who were told about conversations between the U.S. Attorney's Office and state and local law enforcement have said that this is over. So they weren't even like, this is not, I talked to Ted Daniel about this today. He's like, this is not anyone that works for the federal government or anything like that. And Ted's actually funny. He swears a lot. You would not know that. He's like pissed at people. And he was basically saying that he has called the Canton Police Department, the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, and the state police for comment on all this, and no one will call him back or talk to him. And he's like, they hate me, and that the prosecution hates me. And he alluded that I think that this came from somebody close to the prosecution. So, but it's obviously somebody he trusts, because he's like, me, I wouldn't put something like that there if I wasn't confident, So it's a tough one because I trust Ted Daniel, and I don't think he would do that to his own reputation. At the same time, he's being told here by 2 sources briefed on the like, that's it. Kind of weak. And I know for a fact, and because I know things that other people don't know. Okay. I know for a fact that the word is ongoing. Okay. This investigation is ongoing. Ask the new U.S. Attorney Foley. It's ongoing. That's a fact. Okay. So whatever these 2 sources told, this could mean a lot of things. Like, first of all, what does it mean that the investigation is over? What does that mean? So so if somebody came to the United States Attorney's Office, like, I don't know, Julie Nagel, or okay, fuck Julie Nagel, Sarah Levinson goes to the U.S. Attorney's Office and says, hey, I have to tell you something. John was in the house. I have to come clean. It happened there. Brian Albert threatened us, whatever. Okay. She goes in there and she says something to that effect. Are you telling me that the U.S. Attorney's Office is going to tell her, too little, too late? Sorry, it's over. We closed that investigation. It's closed. What does that even mean? Investigations never close. Like, if somebody comes forward with more information, or if they find more evidence about something, it will go on. Like, what does that even mean? Investigations don't close without a resolution. The thing about this that you have to remember is that they know that Kearney didn't kill John O'Keefe because they hired the ARCA guys, and the ARCA guys had one job. Can you tell us if this is possible? Because if it's not possible, then she's ruled out in our book that she can't have done this. That's what that means. So keep in mind, the federal investigators know that Kearney didn't do this, which means that they know John's dead. So someone did that to him. And there's only so many people it could be. And he was found in this house, like on the lawn of this house. And they have his Apple Health data. They know he went up and down 3 flights of stairs. They're not buying Nicholas Garino's story about moving the phone up and down in the car. They're not buying that. They don't give a shit about GPS. None of that matters to them. They know they're not stupid. Now, I also know that the federal government does not go after people unless they have an airtight case, because their conviction rate is so high, because they just get people to plea all the time. I mean, Look what they got in Matthew Farwell. It's like undeniable. Monica Cannon Grant. I mean, when they get you, they get you. So what that tells me is that I think they made a while ago, wouldn't surprise me if they've just kind of like hit a brick wall and they're like, we know it's these motherfuckers, but we don't have enough to take it. We don't have enough to take this to trial and indict. Like they'll beat this, you know, we don't have enough right now. That's what I think happened. And there's nothing we can do. We cannot tell the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office to stop doing this. It's not our jurisdiction. There's nothing they can do. That's what I think. That's what I think happened. And I think what happened, but again, nobody knows. I'm just speculating. I know Judge Bev doesn't like that unless Hanky Brennan's doing it. But I think that they just look at this and they've hit a brick wall. And that prior to this, I'm guessing that they probably would work on this case a lot. And now they're just like, so what's going on with the Reed case? Any new developments? And they're like, no. Anyone got any new ideas? No. That's just, again, I'm just speculating. What I think happened is that they've just kind of, they don't have enough that they feel confident in prosecuting these people to convict them. I think they know that they did it. I just don't think they think that they can get them. So what can they do? And so whoever these sources are who were briefed, I think they're just repeating that the case has gone somewhat cold and they've put it in the back of the filing cabinet. I think that's what they've done. That certainly doesn't mean any investigation is closed or anything like that. It never closes. An investigation like this is never going to close. Murder, in the words of Bunk Moreland, murder stay murder. Like they will revisit this shit. This will never go away. They're never going to forget about this. Like murder stay murder, period. And they're not going to just forget about this and put it in the back of a filing cabinet and forget about it forever. They're going to get and I've always said this from the beginning, check the archives. Check the archives. And by the way, this shit, none of this is confirmed by anyone, like besides these two sources that Ted's not naming, right? So they could be lying to him. Who knows, right? But guess what? My big thing here is I don't want to go down the road where we say this is just entirely fake, because then we're putting all our eggs in one basket. And we're saying, well, if it's not fake, we're fucked, right? My whole thing is we're going to win either way. It doesn't matter. It would be nice, right? Because personally, I want to see Jennifer McCabe held accountable. But I would say step one is, exonerating Karen Reed. I think that's step one, is an acquittal of Karen Reed. Like, obviously, this would make it a lot easier if the bad guys were charged. It would obviously be a lot easier. And for me. But I guarantee you, like, if they arrested Michael Proctor tomorrow, they would not drop the charges against Karen Reed. They'd be like, yeah, so he's a scumbag and covered some shit up and planted some taillight, but she still did it. She still did it. They would still go ahead with it. I have no doubt in my mind they would still go ahead with it, even if they arrested Michael Proctor and Jennifer McCabe and whoever. They'd be like, well, that's what the feds think. We say otherwise. I don't know. So I don't really, if you go back and play the tapes of what I've said about this, I've long said that I don't think they're going to arrest anyone. I think they're going to get away with murder. I've said that a bunch of times. I've also said, like, trolls are bringing it up like, oh, you said this. You're next, Jen McCabe. You're next, Colin Albert. Whatever I said. Just something you say. Okay? Just wishful thinking. All right? I don't actually, I don't wake up every day or any day and ever think, like, today's the day they're going to get them. I'm not Sean on the Gulf. Okay? That was his thing. To come on his show every night and give you guys false hope about everything. Like, that's what he did. He fed you fucking lies and false hope. And because he was a DEA agent, it's like, oh, believe Sean, it's no, realistically, we don't know. This would be a huge case, man. There's a lot to prove here and it's going to be hard. So, people are like, don't get mad at me for saying that. Like, people are like, it's not disloyal to say that, oh, they might get away with this. Like, they might. And I got news for you. They wouldn't be the first people to get away with murder. But the disadvantage that they have is that no matter what they do, no matter what happens with them, when this trial, retrial is over and they're no longer witnesses, right? And they can no longer hide behind the witness intimidation statute, all bets are off. All bets are off. And these people, they've already lost. No matter what happens, they've already lost. Because we all know what they did. We all know. And when we see them anywhere, everyone is thinking, oh, there's Brian Albert. That motherfucker killed the man. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And then covered it up. That motherfucker is cold-blooded. He's the most dangerous one of all of them by far. Higgins, Jennifer McCabe. These are cold-blooded individuals. And the one of them that's most likely to kill again is Colin Albert, because he has learned nothing from any of this. He's a bigger punk than he was before all this. All he's learned is that if he does something horrible, or if he's involved in something as serious as the murder of a police officer, it will get covered up. It's like the president's kid. There's nothing he can't do, you know? So, yeah. You know, it's so anyway, back to this thing here. But I will say this. I know as a fact, though, that it doesn't matter because the federal investigation is ongoing. I can tell you that right now. The federal investigation is ongoing. I don't care what these sources said, right? They are not stopping. I'm speculating that this could mean that like these people are saying that it's slowed down or whatever. They're not as active because they don't have as many angles to investigate. But I'm telling you right now, you can rest assured that this is not over. I would also tell you, don't count on anything. Don't count on any indictments or arrests. That would be fucking awesome. Don't get me wrong, but don't think that, never fool yourself into believing that will definitely happen. Okay. But at the same time, do not believe for 1 second that this investigation is over, because it's not. That's not an opinion. That's a fact, because I know shit that Ted Daniels doesn't know. Okay. I know shit. We'll just leave it at that. I got sources. Everybody knows that I got sources. And I've seen shit that they haven't seen. But, you know, I don't know anything about that. Because, I didn't see any 911 tapes or dash cam video. I didn't know anything about that shit either. I don't know nothing about this stuff. So I don't know anything else. I don't know nothing about an ongoing federal investigation. I don't know anything about that. Nothing. So I'm happy that these people believe that this is over, because that's great. That's great. They might get away with it. They know that they might get away with this, but just know that. Just know that. We'll see what happens. Anyway, back to this. So it says here that the cases center on the death, blah, 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 blah. I mean, they're speaking on the condition of anonymity. Like, who are these people? You know? And then Kristina Rex King, like, it was like too little, too late today. Like, what was up with her today? Like, did you see her tweets today? I'll show you hers. And she's not a bad person. I don't mind her. I don't want to like act like that. Kristina Rex. Okay. So this one. And let's also not forget that they all told us that this would be brought up in court today. Ted Daniels' sources also told him that this would be brought up in court today. That was a lie. It was not brought up in court today. Okay. I mean, let me read this. It says, this is from Ted's report yesterday. It said, the The case centers, both sources said that federal prosecutors notified the state police, the Norfolk DA's office, and the Canton police last week that no charges would be filed. How do they know that? How could these sources know that no charge will ever be filed? They don't. There's no way of knowing that at all. There's absolutely no way of knowing that. So I don't believe that. I think whoever is telling Ted this is not as knowledgeable as they claim to be. Because how could they know that? And I have a hard time believing the feds would just call up the DA's office and say, "Hey guys, you know what? You're all set. No one's getting arrested. Take a deep breath. Big sigh of relief. You guys are all. We thought you guys were involved in a cover up there, but turns out you weren't. Rest easy, Helena Rafferty. Have a great." I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that any conversation like that happened. So no, I don't believe this. I think that this report, whoever's telling Ted this, I think they're coming from a position of thinking that the investigation is slowed down, which that would not surprise. Would that surprise any of you guys that the investigation has slowed down because there's less to investigate? I believe that, but I don't believe for a second that it's stopped. Because I know for a fact it hasn't. And I also know, right, that it's highly implausible that anyone from the U.S. Attorney's Office would just call Helena Rafferty and be like, "You guys are good. Don't worry about it. You're off the hook. Go take a nap. You're all set. Rest easy tonight. Come on. It's not gonna happen. Stop it." Anyway, it also says, and this never happened, right? From Ted's thing, it says that one source said they expect Norfolk County Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan to announce the development when Reed returns to court on Tuesday. Well, it didn't happen. That never happened. So there's that. Didn't happen. Anyway, back to this. Kristina Rex tweets this today. She says, "Despite it not coming up in court today as expected," as expected, because they all as expected, aka you guys, you know what she should say, and these people should say, so my sources, don't blame me, my sources were wrong. That's what you got to say. You can't, if your sources tell you something, you got, and they guarantee something's going to happen like this, and then it doesn't happen, you got to take that L. You got to eat that one. You know, that's a big L to take. You got to say, you know what? I was wrong. Wrong about that one. Oops. Not me. They wrong. And then I would consider outing them. I'd be like, okay, because that's what I do. If you feed me a bullshit lie, and I've done this before, because I guarantee anonymity unless you lie to me. If you come to me and you're like, "Turtleboy, I got a huge scoop for you," right? And then I trust you and you convince me this is true, and I print it and it turns out not to be true. And then you have some bullshit excuse about, "Oh, no, this person," I don't give a fuck about the backstory. You represent it as true. I'm not eating this one on my own. I'm outing you. I guarantee anonymity unless you fuck me over and make me look like a fool. If you make me look like a fool, then I ain't going down with the ship alone. You're coming with me. So that's what I would encourage Ted Daniel and Kristina Rex to do that. Your sources fucked up. They kind of embarrassed you guys a little bit because you guys said that there was going to be a big announcement about a federal investigation today. Never happened. Hank didn't say shit. So your sources have lost immense credibility. You should never take anything serious from them again. I mean, I think the fact that they didn't say anything about this today seriously makes you wonder about this. I'm talking myself into this. I'm talking myself into the fact that this is completely made up. So, okay. Anyway, so Kristina Rex says, despite not coming up in court today as expected, a second source. So she only had one source when she first reported it, close to the investigation, confirmed to me that they got notification that the federal investigation is over. David Yannetti told me he had no comment. Okay. And that's the other thing about, remember, The Quantico trained specialist from the FBI that determined that it was in the TUI report that determined the 227 search happened. They know that happened. They know the 227 happened. So that's the one that's wild that they can't get her on that. But let's see. Anything else she say here? She talked a lot about what happened in court. I want to see your report from last night. Yeah, I mean, this is what she says about the U.S. Attorney's Office. The U.S. Attorney's Office said it had no comment when asked to confirm it. Wouldn't they want to confirm it? Like if the federal investigation was over and these people were all innocent, wouldn't they want to confirm that? I don't know. Just saying. Doesn't sound like they're confirming shit. Here's what she tweeted yesterday. A person briefed on the situation tells me it is expected to be announced in court tomorrow that the federal investigation has ended. I mean, are they recycling the same sources? It's just weird that she posted this like shortly after Ted did. She's like, oh, I got sources too. Are they the same people? Who's doing this? And it is interesting, of course, that the Plevins of the world and the Jill Daniels of the world over the weekend were all like, it's over. The federal investigation's over. Because they've said it so many times that the federal investigation's over. You just don't take them seriously. You know what I mean? Anyway, so that's my first turtle chat. Next up, we got Joanne sends $10, goes, the irony of Julie Nagel calling Meredith pregnant when she has a six-pack. Go shove another bagel bite and shut it, you cow. Yeah, I know. Julie Nagel shouldn't be calling anyone pregnant. She's a big girl. She's she's one of the guys. Let's just put it that way. Julie Nagel is one of the guys. So that was really rude. And let's see if McCarthy's tape is going to come in real handy. Because, guys, I got news for you. I know all this Karen Reed stuff is going on, and we all care about Karen Reed. But don't forget about your boy. I have a motion to dismiss. Our motion to dismiss hearing is March 5th. Karen Reed's motion to dismiss is March 4th. Like, we got a busy week next week. Did you know Karen Reed next week has court? This is her schedule for court next week. All right. March 4th, which is a Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pretrial motion hearing. Okay. 9 a.m. They still got a bunch of shit to do. They didn't get to the dog thing today. Their dog expert guy, their fake meteorologist guy that they got here who could tell you how hard the ground was. That guy, there's a whole bunch of shit they got to get through. So they got that guy. That's Monday. And then that's Tuesday. Wednesday, the 5th, she has her motion to dismiss hearing on in the morning at 9 o'clock. This motion to dismiss that has been impounded. We can't see it. All right. And that'll probably be an all day thing. She's just going to deny it, but whatever. Like, we're going to find out some shit that day too. Then on the March 5th in the afternoon at 2 o'clock is the Turtleboy motion to dismiss. That's right. In the main courtroom. And our judge is way better. You're going to like my judge way more. Judge Doolin. He's way cooler than Auntie Bev. So that's going to be taking place in the main courtroom. And I hope to see you guys there, because if you don't know about my case, dude, it's almost equally as outrageous as Karen Reed's. Like, it's just wild, except nobody died in my case. Like, nobody got hurt. I'm actually facing more years in jail than she is. And literally nobody, at least in her, somebody's dead. Like, nobody died. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got boo-boo. Nothing. And we're talking about, like, 160 years or some shit in jail. Like, it's wild. So anyway, so yeah, that's that day. Then March 7th, Karen Reed has another hearing in Norfolk Superior Court, a final pretrial conference hearing. And on March 5th in federal court at Uncle Joe's house, Alan Jackson has been pro hoc vetoed in with Marty Weinberg. They are appealing this whole double jeopardy thing in federal court because they want to bring this all the way to the Supreme Court. That they have a case here. Marty Weinberg's on it. Marty Weinberg is on that shit. So This is, and if they decide to stay this, they could delay the whole trial if they want to. So we have no idea if it's gonna be happening on April 1st. No, like a lot could change. It's 5 weeks away. We don't even know. Is yours open to the public on 3-5? Yes, it is. And if you haven't seen my motion to dismiss, I covered it in a Turtle Club episode. Join Turtle Club, and you can see that. Yeah, I mean, Baby Clay died. You know, that's a good point. El Woods, Baby Clay did die in mine. So I guess not. There has been one casualty. There's been one casualty of this whole affair, and that would be for sweet Baby Clay. R.I.P. That boy could have been anything, couldn't he? Okay, cool. All right. Next up. Let's see. Auntie Bev's Cape House shower mat sends $10 and goes, "Dear Doc, I have to confide to you that Auntie Bev's Cape House shower mat isn't all it's cracked up to be. Sometimes I think it would be better to be Plevin's terrible towel if he rubbed one out to Cape Cod Times articles about a Cub Scout jamboree at Nickerson State Park. Okay, I'd rather be stopped by Sean McCabe's diabetes, sore-ridden, gouty feet than spend another summer of looking up at Bev's cankles as she hums It's Raining Men, daydreaming about being a Canton High School turtleneck and cross-wearing a bug-eyed mean girl." Okay, thank you for the $10. All right. Barney Rubble sends $10 and goes, "G'day, Straya Doc. People just need to breathe. Wanky Hanky is just being the defense to recuse, is just helping the defense to recuse Bev Con on knees by vividly displaying her bias." I know she was like out of control today. I've never seen her this bad as she was today. Just her attitude, man. You guys don't see her when Alessi's speaking, doing that thing, and she's up there like rolling her eyes. Like, oh God, she hates theatrics. She hates it when the defense acts theatrical. She doesn't mind when Hanky does it, but she hates it when the defense does it. So she just despises them in general. But anyway, this guy goes, this Barney Rubble says, "The way she questioned the defense attorneys of their endorsement is just another boot to her teeth. Hoorah. P.S. I got a major achievement on Twitter. I managed to get Michelle Krusty Panties bitch Gaffney to block me. P.S. I love you." Yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame. That guy's a little bit obsessed with me, just a little bit. So you're really gonna miss out on that. Thomas Autonomous Anonymous sends $10 and says, "Thanks, Doc, for seeing me. I have had an itch since the hearings earlier, and this is the soonest you are available. And what's up with Rafferty? I was hoping she was there to clarify the CPD video issues, but I guess Paul was using her to send some signal or something." So Helena Rafferty walked in with Paul O'Keefe today, and the crowd was giving it to Helena when. So let me show you this video. Let me bring this up. So let's see. Where'd it go? Parrot. So Penny Commit, who's really nice and is I'd say has done fair and honest coverage of this case. She's a national reporter for CBS. She tweeted the following with this video. I'll play this video. So this is when Paul walks in with he walked in with who are the two people Paulie walked in with today? Oh, his mother and Helena Rafferty. And this is what the crowd did. Somebody goes, "Do you have any donuts today?" I wonder what that could be about. But she says, "A look at the Free Cannery group responding to the arrival of John O'Keefe's brother, Paul O'Keefe. I will say things feel a bit more intense than usual this morning." Okay, so this is, of course, fodder for you're picking on the family of Paul O'Keefe, and a lot of people are in the comments, rightfully saying, no. He was talking about they were yelling at Helena Rafferty, not Paul. And that is true. They were yelling at Helena. You heard some people specifically yelling out, "You're a disgrace, Helena Rafferty," etc. It's fucking weird. We'll get to that in a minute, that she was even there. Right. But I want to say also, just for the record, it's okay to boo Paul O'Keefe at this point. I restrained myself from doing it for quite some time, for a while. I think we've crossed the line now where it's okay. Like, Paul O'Keefe's one of the bad guys. Like, it's okay. He is one of the bad guys. Like, and he had nothing to do with John O'Keefe's murder. I will never go down that road. I fucking hate when people do that. And they're like, he helped cover it up. No. Paul O'Keefe had nothing to do with that. Okay. Stop it. But it doesn't mean he's not a piece of shit. You understand that? Just because something horrible happened to his brother doesn't change the fact that he's not a piece of shit. And that goes for his mother too. His mother sucks. His mother is a horrible person. And so, tragic things happened in her life. It's very sad what's happened in Peggy O'Keefe's life. You know, it doesn't make her any less of a horrible person. Like, she sits there and is like, thinks this whole thing's a joke almost. Like, it's bizarre. It's like got evil in her heart. You know, these are dark-souled people. And let me tell you, I wanted to be outside when Paul O'Keefe and them came in, but they were right behind me when I was in line, and I'm sitting there and I just waited for them to come in after you go through the whole, machine there, like you're going through the airport, and I'm standing in the courthouse in the lobby there, and Paul comes in, and I just look at him, and I just did this. That's all I did. I just did the signal. I did the signal, and he looked at me like he wanted to fucking kill me. Okay. And he ain't the only one. In the courtroom, I'm standing there, and Jackie and Carl Dougal come in, and they're sitting right in front of me. Of course, they got to walk right by me, and Carl and me just stood there. And these motherfuckers think if they stare at me, I'm going to be like, "Oh man, look away." I'm so awkward. They think I'm one of these guys like that. Oh, he just goes on the internet and he talks shit. No, I will stare you down I can do a staring contest. I could check to see if McCarthy. I don't back down from anyone. You think I'm like, what? Haven't you guys learned? I'm not that guy. Whoa. Like, I'm not that guy that's scared of any of you motherfuckers. You don't frighten me in the least. I've been to jail. Like, I'm grizzled as shit. Like, you don't scare me. So I did the signal to him, and he got a little upset. And then Carl was staring me down too. He hates me, and his wife does too, which is fine because I don't like them at all either. And then I'm outside, and I'm at the bottom of the stairs, and then Helena Rafferty comes down. She's got her fucking uniform on. Why do you have your goddamn uniform on right now? Like, and she had to get escorted out by Sergeant Hardo. He's Sergeant Hardman from the Massachusetts State Police. He's been in my house before. He's just a douchebag. He's got no personality, no sense of humor. He's not cool like Lieutenant Murph. He's not fun. He's not, like, he just sucks. Like, that guy, I don't know. That guy must go home and just plug himself into the wall at the end of the day. No personality whatsoever. And he's escorting her out. It's like the fucking chief of police who has a gun on her needs a goddamn escort. I mean, I've never seen softer people in my life. These people, Brian Albert needs an escort. All these people need a fucking escort out from these people, from the pink people. I was like, oh no, they're so scary. The pink people are going to scare them. Oh, Dennis Murphy might yell at them. Oh no, what are they going to do? They'll fucking melt into a puddle or some shit. Who cares? So anyway, Helena comes down the stairs, and I'm standing there. A couple people around, they saw this happen. And I don't know if I said something to her, but we just made eye contact. Like, we were I've never seen her before. And she just looks at me, and I just looked at her. We had a staring contest. And she thought, like, she was so angry. Like, bitch, I ain't the one that hit an elderly person. I'm sorry I ruined your Easter by reporting that. But you did, in fact, hit an elderly person with your car. So I feel like that's newsworthy, lady. Chill out, right? She's all mad. Remember, she was so mad at that select board meeting that he said that I slept with Ken Markowitz. And I didn't see any correction. Oh my God. That's what you took out of that bitch. I don't know if you fuck Kenny Berkowitz. I odds are no. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't care who's fucking who. That never has been my thing. I don't care who's fucking who. Right. Good for you if you did. More power to you. Right. But I don't care. Quite frankly, I mean, maybe you did. I mean, you live in a $1.8 million mansion on a freaking public servant salary. I think that's a little bit weirder. But Helena Rafferty, she's just your typical just go along to get along, cover up bullshit politician. Remember her initial reaction to all this? She called it sensationalism and we should all let it play out in court. And then we did. And it turned out to be just as fucking ridiculous. And it's still going on. And it's just like, shut up. She's the worst fucking leader of all time. Just the worst. But anyway, so that was them. And yeah, so those are my interactions with them today. Okay. Next turtle chat. Questioning since $5 goes, thinking about Hanky and Meatball, do you think Hank was hired and paid more than initially contracted for his sneaky way for Meatball to pay Hank for a personal matter? I have no idea. So thank you. And sending theories like that, it's cool. I mean, it's get it off your chest, but I don't get into shit like that. I have no fucking clue. But thank you for the dono. And I will say this too, okay? And I mean no disrespect to supporters. They're going to know I'm talking about them because it happened like 4 times today. It needs to just stop, okay? If you see me out in public, if you come to one of these events, whatever you do, do not pitch me your story about your personal thing with corruption, okay? That is just, this one guy comes up to me today. I'm in the second floor of the courthouse and he's like, oh, I sent a message to your Instagram account and I've been trying to reach you. And I don't run the Instagram. And the woman who does a really good job of screening who gets access to me because she knows that like everybody wants a fucking story. And she knows what to send me and what not to send me. That's what she's good at. Okay. Sniffing out the bullshit. So this guy comes, the Eldon Boyds of the world, like people like him, like go away. This is not, stop trying to piggyback off of this shit. So this one guy comes up here today and he's like, I messaged the Instagram page. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, she said that you're a little busy. So I said, no, I have to talk to him because I have this whole story of corruption in Norfolk County. He's just not going to believe it. He's not going to believe it. And I have 3 pages of documents. And he goes, we need to sit down for coffee. We need to sit down for coffee and talk. And I'm like, it's like corruption. He just keeps talking. And he's just not taking any of my social cues where I'm like not making eye contact. I'm just trying to be polite, but I'm kind of looking the other way like, okay. Yeah. Like I'm this close to telling him, shut the fuck up. Like, dude, you take a fucking hint, dude. You're not taking a fucking hint. Has no one ever told you to take a fucking hint? You know what I mean? But I'm being polite about it. He's going to know I'm talking about him now, but guess what, dude? It's a crash course in manners. Okay. Like, and hint taking. Like, if I didn't get back to you online, that wasn't an accident. Okay. Everyone needs to know that. If you sent me a message on Facebook or on Twitter or an email, and this happened like 3 times today where people are like, I've sent you messages. I've sent you emails about this. And you should tell the defense team about this. And you should tell them this. Okay. They don't need you. They don't need you. You did not come up with something that they haven't thought of. Okay. You didn't solve this fucking mystery on your iPhone. Okay. You didn't. And if I didn't get back to you, it was by design. It was because I was completely uninterested in everything you were saying. All of it. I might not have even read it because it was fucking 20 paragraphs long. Okay. So the guy came up to me and he had this whole story. And I'm like, okay. And he's just like, we should meet for coffee. He kept saying. And I'm like, what planet am I on? Where, like, what is wrong with this guy to think that he's entitled to several hours of my time? Because that's what that would mean. I don't know you. Okay. I'm extremely busy. I'm working this Karen case, and I got a shitload of my own problems. Okay. I also have a family and all these other obligations. And you think I have fucking time in my day to just meet up with you for coffee for several hours because you have 300 pages of fucking documents that you wanted me to go over that will take fucking thousands of hours to analyze? Like, what the fuck is wrong with your brain? And did your mother not teach you any manners? Like that, did they not teach you any manners at all? When people aren't responding to you, just walk away. Maybe he's on the spectrum. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But it's like, dude, yeah, I used to just send people like that to Sean on the Golf. Oh, go talk. Oh, Sean on the Golf. Oh, yeah, go talk to him. He'll love this story. But anyway, I had to rant about that. Please do not, if you see me in public at one of these events, do not come up to me and tell me about your local story. I don't give a fuck at all. I will not cover it. It could be the craziest story in the world. I won't cover it out of spite because I don't like you at that point. Okay. It's just your manners suck. Do not, there's a fucking way to do this. Send me a fucking email. That's it. That's it. Do not fucking approach me with your bullshit. I have no interest in it. And stop trying to piggyback off of the Karen Reed case we all agree that's corrupt. It doesn't mean your story is corrupt. It doesn't mean that. That Eldon Boyd guy is just a fucking piece of shit who went to jail for 6 months and has been crying about it for 15 fucking years. That's it. There was no corruption in the story whatsoever. And he just doesn't shut the fuck up about he went to jail for 6 months and blames Kevin Reddington for it. Kevin Reddington doesn't send people to jail. Kevin Reddington keeps scumbags out of jail. That's his thing. If you went to jail and Kevin Reddington was your lawyer, guess what? You deserve to go to fucking jail. Okay? That's it. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, let's refresh these. Next up, from the White House sends $5 and says, this is to Morrissey, Bev, Spanky, State Police, Canton, and the Commonwealth. The McAlberts give 2 fucks about you all. So continue to fuck up your own career, reputation, and cover for them all. We'll see. And I talked to Howie about this today. I think as of right now, I think he will run for district attorney again in 2026 and win at the rate we're going. Because guess what? There's supposedly 2 people running for district attorney. Where are they? Are they actually running? I know they announced they're running. Are you going to fucking do something? You have the story of the century here. You should be jumping on channels right now. You should be jumping on mine. Like, you will never get promotion like mine. Ask people that are saying, oh, you can't win if you run with Turtleboy, you'd be associated with him. Tell that to Kelly Dooner, who just got elected as a Republican to the Massachusetts State Senate when nobody ever gets elected as a Republican in the Massachusetts State Senate. Okay? It can be done. Anyway, like, I would say they need to get off their fucking ass and get their names out there, because y'all gonna lose if you don't do some shit. You need to start doing some fundraisers, and we're running out of time. We're T-minus like 18 months to that election. But anyway, Nicola sends $10 and goes, the defense needs to cut to the chase now and fight fire with fire. Stop giving the scummy Commonwealth the benefit of the doubt. I don't think they do. Hank is a filthy pig liar. I agree with that. Thank you. Amber sends $25 and goes, 160 years. I wish you could have at least gotten one good KO bang bang in with a few of those witnesses. You mean the years I'm facing in jail? Right. Thank you. Kathleen sends $25, goes, Alessi was masterful today. And it was great to see so many people show up live in support of Karen. What the hell was Helena the hyena doing there with the donut ling? Was that a freebie escort or overtime? I don't know, but it was nice to see so many people there outside of court, because you guys can't even get in and you're still showing up. So that's great to see. I love you guys. Awesome to see that. Doug sends $5 and goes, Duke lacrosse players received an estimated $20 million. Ooh, did they really? For malicious prosecution. Have you talked to a civil attorney, and what do you think you and Karen will be owed after this is all said and done? I don't know. But I do have an attorney. And I know Karen has her own civil attorney. So, but step one is you got to get exonerated. So thank you for that. Joellen sends $10, goes, drove home from Oklahoma with my husband, introduced him to Turtleboy shows, a 22-hour drive, lots of shows we heard. He is now a fan. Keep being real. Free Karen Reed, Turtleboy. Thanks for all you do. Well, thank you very much. It is good for a road trip. It is good for a road trip. Next up, a retired prison captain sends $10 and goes, Doctor, let's keep in mind that some investigations take years to get the one eureka moment to deal it. Also, this could be known as a tickling the wire, making them feel completely safe. So they let their guard down, start communicating as normal again, and get caught inadvertently spilling the beans via text or wiretap. Wouldn't surprise me for sure. So thank you for that one. Rose Lean sends $20 and goes, hi, Uncle Dr. Uncle Turtleboy. Dr. Uncle Daddy Turtleboy. All right. Heard a great suggestion from attorney Josh Schiffer on Defense Diaries last night. Have ARCA show the jury how a Lexus taillight could be shattered into 45 pieces. Cannon, hammer, not a human. Prove to the jury that the revealed taillight evidence is 100% fake. Then continue to discredit the Commonwealth evidence one at a time for the jury. Remove the lies so they can see the truth. Thanks, Turtleboy. I don't know if you can do. I mean, how do you do that? You just come on there and you break a taillight in the courtroom. You think Auntie Bev is going to allow that? Objection. Sustained. And that's the problem is objection. Sustained. Objection. Sustained. Nothing cool is allowed to happen in that courtroom. Anything that like they weren't even allowed to ask Lucky Loughran, if a body was on the lawn, would you have seen it? Objection. Sustained. Like, that's the most important question to ask him. Like, okay, so you didn't see a body. Okay, well, would you have seen one if one was there? Objection. Sustained. Okay. So you never know. But these are great ideas. I like it. They definitely need to prove that taillight thing. And Joe Flipperhead has some good stuff on that where I hope to tweet about in the next couple of days as well. More evidence, really, that from the trial that kind of proves that, like, they're lying about where that car was and whether or not taillight could have been planted. Because it absolutely could have. Okay, Kylie sends $10 and goes, Crash Daddy's expert witness testimony funds. Wink, wink. P.S. Unky Aidan, Turtleboy Daddy, PhD, real journalist for president, Turtleboy, the Glare 2028. Okay, thank you, Kylie. Jamie sends $20 and goes, hey, doctor, any idea who the large guy in the suit was? He stood for a while near the court officers at the entrance to the court. I saw Court TV guy and another journal take notice too. I don't know what guy you're talking about. Thank you, Jamie. Jolene sends $10, goes, hello, doctor. Please say hello to my cousin Ramona. We watched the trial knowing nothing. We saw the evil corruption in real time. We just can't move on until Karen is free. Love from Derry, Ireland. Thank you, Jolene. And I appreciate you. And Karen does as well. And the second trial, man, is going to be, it's going to be crazier than the first, I think. Courtney sends $10 and goes, what if the investigation into Karen herself is over? ARCA isn't under contract anymore, so perhaps they've closed her investigation. And now, well, they closed hers as soon as they did the ARCA thing. And now Spanky and Morrissey is spinning that into a very carefully crafted leak. Perhaps. Again, I only talk about things I know for sure, so thank you. Lacey sends $10 and goes, enthusiastically read this, please. LOL. Just want to start off the night by letting everyone know that I'll be interviewing the lovely Meredith O'Neill this Thursday, 7 to 9 on Twitter at Lacey J Meeks. It'll be saucy. There may be some questions about Turtleboy, but you'll have to watch for yourself. See you then. Okay, yes, and definitely give Lacey a follow. She's a good one over on Twitter. I don't call it X. I will never call it X. So thank you very much. Kathleen sends $10, has no comment. Thank you, Kathleen. Amanda sends $10, goes, Dr. Turtleboy, Daddy, Aidan, what is really going on? A lot of talk at court, but was there any outcome today? Confused on what this whole thing. Also, Brennan is a complete dork. Hard to listen to him fake snitch on the defense. He is such a dork. And he was bad today again. My thought on that was when it ended, it just kind of ended. We're like, so what's going on? So is Alan Jackson still on the case? That was supposed to be the thing today, right? Is Alan Jackson going to be allowed on the case still? Are they going to kick him off? She didn't even say, like, I'll have a ruling I'll take this under advisement, or I'm going to think about it. Like, what's she going to do? It's a bold move, man. I can't see her doing it. One thing I've learned about Auntie Bev is she's sackless. And this is a sack full thing to do. Like, you have to have a big old balls to throw an attorney like Alan Jackson off the case. Like, something like that's like a bold move. She would love to. Don't get me wrong. I think she would thoroughly enjoy that. I don't think she has the minerals, man. I don't think she's got it in her. I don't think she has it in her. I just don't think she has. I think she's just likes to show that she favors the other side, but ultimately she has given them some things here and there when she absolutely had to. You know, I can't remember any off the top of my head, but there's been a couple things that they've given the defense that like she had no choice but to give them. So I don't know. I definitely don't think the ARCA guys are going to get kept off. No way. No way. That's not even up for debate. Hankey's not even putting up much of a fight about that. But, and now we know how hard he's going to cross-examine them with this shit about, like, not necessarily what they're saying, but your methodology and were you paid by the defense? And oh my God, it's like pulling teeth with this guy. Rick Green, all the witnesses. Think what he's going to try to do to Lucky Loughran. That poor guy. So anyway, I'm not the least bit worried about it, but it's gonna be a pain. Everything's gonna be a fucking fight with this guy. Everything. That's why this trial is gonna take longer. Mark my word. So yeah, nothing happened. You know, we had a whole thing, and then it's like, okay, so now what? So is Alan Jackson still on? I guess he is. I don't know. Bob sends $10, goes, Turtleboy, who is the whore sitting next to Paul O'Cheater in court today? And what the fuck would Helena Rafferty be escorting him or anyone to court? She's dumb as a rock and has no shame. So that the blonde, she said everything. I think she's some sort of cousin or some shit. I don't know. She's a regular there. I always see her sitting with them. But Erin O'Keefe was not there. And neither was Megabeth. You would know if Megabeth was there because there would be 2 less seats for everyone else. And man, Megabeth, dude, I found a picture of Paul, Erin, and Megabeth from not too long ago. Let's see. Yeah, check this out. Dude. So that's Erin. And that's Megabeth, isn't it? That's Megabeth. Dude. Big Fat Beth was not so big. That's what a Hot Pocket, a diet of only Hot Pockets, which are actually somewhat nutritious. I like Hot Pockets. They fill you up and there's not that many calories in them. It's probably not that good for you, but it's also not that bad. I feel like, I don't know. But, dude, that's Megabeth, dude. Like I had, that's her, right? That's definitely Megabeth. I think that's her. I think. I don't know. But either way, I mean, Erin used to be, I mean, Erin's not bad looking. She's just miserable, obviously. But I don't know. I don't know. She wasn't there today, and I don't know if she's ever going to be there again. How can, because she's got to, especially at this last one. How can she ever face, like, people are going to have so many questions for them. Like Paul, like, they always go up that ramp too, don't they? They always avoid the crowd. They love doing that. All right, cool. Next up, we got here, do we have any others? All right, bang a couple of these out. Then we got to get some trial testimony. It just did gave $5 and says, so an unexpected payment after trial is enough to burn the house down, but an inverted video with no metadata is no big whoop. Exactly. I noticed Hank didn't address or get asked about his lies one bit. This judge is a joke. Exactly. Like, she doesn't even try to be fair. Like, she grills Alessi over everything. Everything she grills these people over. But Hank Brennan he lied about, they had 10 lies of his today, 10 lies. And it just didn't matter. None of the shit mattered. Auntie Bev, looking like Miss Piggy, sends $5 and says, Jen, how did you went from telling grand jury that you didn't hear anything to heard bits and pieces to she's telling them everything when Kerry was giving her statement? Lying bitch. That's a good question. I don't know. And that's why I love this whole like lying bitch. Like, that's what makes me sleep well at night, is there are so many people out there who just hate and are angry with Jennifer McCabe. And I know that like and cannot control themselves around her. And that makes me happy. Like, because even if she gets away with murder, there will always be so many people out there that will just like, she's gonna, for the rest of her life, people are gonna be like, there's that, you lying bitch, you know. And I don't ask anyone to do that. You know, people, oh, it's your fault. Witness intimidation. It ain't my fault. If it's my fault that Jennifer McCabe's having people call her a lying bitch or whatever, then it's Hanky Brennan's fault that Dr. Wolf's family is getting harassed. It is. All right, next up. Bev's Moose Knuckle sends $25, goes, any chance ARCA has video footage of their testing? Also, fuck Brennan. I know. Good question. I don't know if they do, but they should. Thank you. Renee Rose Miller sends $10, goes, extra funny tonight. Consider it gratuity. Thank you. Well, I appreciate that, Renee. Thank you. Amy sends $25 and goes, thanks for your great coverage. Love your show. And I believe that Karen Reed is innocent. And I love to see you stand up for her. It's the least I can do. And thank you for enjoying the program there, Amy. Distraction in Action sends $5, goes, what are your thoughts on the state police trying to persuade the medical examiner to change their report? Seems they've been doing dirty work and changing reports all along. We know that because Donkey Lips DeChico told, was busting Proctor's chops, as he said. We bust each other's chops when he couldn't get the medical examiner report to give him the homicide determination that he wanted. So there's that. Blue Ball sends $5 and goes, hey, Spanky, for 75 grand, I'll give you not one, but 2 sidebar hand jobs. Ooh, nice. Thank you, Blue Balls. Lauren Katie sends $5, goes, ironically, Bev was asking for metadata today with dates and times and emails. However, she's not willing to give Karen the same one. Same. Who's on trial for her life? The same courtesy. Exactly. Plymouth Standout sends $10 and goes, Uncle, thank you for all you've done for this Karen Reed and John O'Keefe case. I'm sad to lose Glazed Donuts over this Paul O'Keefe debacle. Plymouth is having our debut dive bar pizza night tomorrow night at Monte Cristo's 7045 State Road in Plymouth. Everyone is welcome except Cardinal Sins and Lying Spanky and, of course, Paul O'Keefe. Happy birthday, Karen. Happy 1 year, Aidan. Yeah, Karen Reed's birthday is tomorrow. I will be celebrating by going on the Young Jerks program. I will be a special guest of Michael Crawford tomorrow evening at 9:30. So tune in to the Young Jerks tomorrow, where I will be interviewed by one of the great interviewers of our time, Mike Crawford, over on the Jerks, the Young Jerks to be specific. So go check that out. Yeah, it is Karen Reed's birthday tomorrow. 45 years young. She looked good today. She looked sharp today. She had a nice outfit on. So I think she looks better in a skirt, and that's not being sexist, than she does a pantsuit. I think when she I don't know, I think all women kind of do. I think it's more ladylike. I think it's more like prettier. You know what I mean? Then but the pantsuit works too, but it just reminds me too much of Hillary Clinton. It does. And or Kamala Harris. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the pantsuits, but anyway, there's that. Okay. Amy sends $50 and goes, in my opinion, the federal investigation is into the DA's office, which includes probes into multiple cases, Birchmore, Reed, etc. The probe into Reed might be over at this point, but not the investigation into Morrissey. Love you, Turtleboy. Exactly. Like, I just have a hard time believing that it's just over. So no, I don't believe that at all, etc. Okay. All right. Let's see here. I just have a couple What do we got here? A couple cash apps to read here. Lauren sends $5 and goes, there's no comment. I don't see any comment here. Just thank you, Lauren. Appreciate that. Paula sends $10 and goes, how was Paul O'Keefe today? Any glazed donuts? I mean, like I said, he just made an angry face at me and just got mad. So there's that. Thank you, Paula. Frank sends $5 to go, Aidan, who's at the top of this corrupt pyramid? I would have to say Michael Morrissey. So there you go. Thank you, Frank. Katie sends $15 and goes, trying to catch up with lore. What made Plevin hate you? So Plevin used to praise me if you go back and watch his earlier stuff. But then he got mad at me and decided that Kearney was guilty when I called him a fence sitter. Because it was obvious he thought that Kearney was guilty that he thought Kearney was innocent based on the things that he was saying on his show. And that's why I liked him, but he just wouldn't come out and say it. And so I'm like, you're being a fence sitter. Come on, Kevin. And then all of a sudden next day, Kearney was guilty. And that became his grift. So he does have a grift going. He makes money off of his show. He literally reads super chats out loud. He's a grifter. It's just so funny that he calls other people grifters. So next up, Katrina sends $10 and goes, can you replay your call to Meatball's son? Oh, I don't remember what episode that was on, but if you can find it and send it to me, I definitely will. So thank you, Katrina. Mama She sends $50 and says, wild day today, Dr. Daddy. I would say so. Yes, it was, Mama. We're going to get to some of that in a moment. Doreen sends $20 and just says turtle. That's me. Thank you, Doreen. Grifter on the Gulf sends $5 and goes, spicy Bob Alessi. Nice. He was spicy today. Lisa sends $10 and goes, I just respect and adore you. Well, I appreciate that. I respect and adore you too. So, okay. Anyway, let me pull up. Let's just jump into this. If anyone else wants their messages read out loud to the class, you can click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy, and we can do it that way. All right. So I got to find the timestamps first. So, and the audio sucked, right? Didn't the audio suck on? I was watching Law and Crime. It was so much better on Melanie Little's. So let me pull up Melanie Little's stream of this today.
Enjoy the journey, or just have a good attorney.
All right, let me find. All right. So first I'm going to put it at faster speed. Obviously, we can't watch the whole thing, but we can watch some highlights from. I want to get to the Spanky stuff too, because all right.
Thing I'm going to say, I would welcome it, but I believe if I can get through the chronology, my hope is that the facts will speak for themselves. But that brings me to my second component of understanding the moment, which is going to be to also add to the fact is what happened at the last hearing, on February 18th. And I have the transcript for that, and I have that in the notebook, because I believe that is also critical to the proper elucidation of facts.
So that's the only thing I have not previously seen.
The February 18th transcript. Yes. There are 9 pages that I'm going to go through, Your Honor. And because of the stakes here, I am going to go through it, hopefully efficaciously and efficiently, but it's going to have to be methodically.
All right. So you're addressing this in chronological order as well, right? Yes. So if you can tell me those pages now, I'll likely recess because I do want to see them before you talk about them, but I'll hear you going up to that point. So what pages are those?
And you're referring, Your Honor, to the February 18th transcript?
Yes. Your number.
I'll tell you exactly.
I'm going to skip some
that
of
I'm
this.
going to refer to. And Your Honor, the defense surely did. So that is the background. That is the information that we have. And so what happens? The defense sees the report, sees that the information in it is completely exculpatory to Ms. Reed. Of course, any attorney, lest they want to risk malpractice, is going to make a communication with that expert, which was perfectly legal and perfectly contemplated by the rules of the road, if you will. Now, as Your Honor also knows, the rules of the road with regard to the ARCA expert were not set by this court. They were set by the U.S. Attorney's Office. And I'm importantly going to articulate with objective evidence what those rules of the road were. But the one key point is those rules were not set by this court. So the contact was made. This is one of the most unusual situations I've ever seen in my practice of law, meaning you have these experts, you have great exculpatory information, but there are significant constraints on how it is you can interact and utilize those experts in a complete unorthodox situation.
The way this guy
Why do I
talks,
emphasize
I love
that? I emphasize that because lawyers in trial practice are used to doing things a certain way.
He
And when there are
yells.
certain constraints
Great.
that are imposed upon them, it becomes more sui generis, more ad hoc. And then there has to be sort of new ways of addressing the situation. That now brings me with that important background to tab 1. And to repeat, the communications start with a report from the ARCA experts and their findings and their conclusions that never changed. They never changed from the report they generated until the first communication in tab 1. It may seem self-evident, but given the moment, I'm not going to take anything as self-evident. The defense had zero input into the report and therefore had zero input into the findings.
All right. So just a quick review of what he's basically saying here. All right. Timeline is really important. And Brandy Churchwell had a good timeline, a nice little visual. I want to bring it up. Let me go find it. Of course she did. She's so on point these days. She's like fucking killing it. Her content's great these days. Not that it was not great before. It's just awesome. So check this out. All right. And thank you for making this, Brandy. This is excellent. So on 2/12, ARCA writes their report. So Turtleboy is in jail. Back then, ARCA finishes their report and well before the trial. You cannot, and let's see. She writes a little note there that says, actually, why don't I just do it like this? You cannot change the conclusions from this report based on baseless accusation of bias months later. So the report is done by the 12th. They've already determined that John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. They don't know any of the people involved in this. They don't care. They're just, brought on and say, is it possible that this guy was hit by a car? Do his injuries line up with a motor vehicle collision? Because if not, nothing else matters. Like the tech stream data doesn't matter. I hit him doesn't matter. Nothing matters if it's physically impossible that this gentleman was hit by a car. And you know what? I don't even need the ARCA experts. All I need to do is look at John's body and look at his head and look at the marks on his arm. And I know that those cannot be explained by a motor vehicle collision. If you attempt to do that, then you sound like Trooper Paul. And you never want to sound like Trooper Paul. That's never a good thing. So that's on 2/12. They've already determined he wasn't hit by a car. 2/21. The Commonwealth and the defense get the ARCA report in the TUI report. March 20th. Attorney Jackson makes contact with ARCA to testify because he's read the report and he's like, well, this is good. And they have the permission of the federal government to reach out to the ARCA experts to ask them to testify. So did the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth also could have reached out to ARCA to ask them to testify, but they didn't. And that should tell you everything you need to know. Why didn't they reach out to ARCA? Because they don't like what ARCA was saying. ARCA was saying that John O'Keefe wasn't hit by a car. Now, if they sought truth, as prosecutors are supposed to do, they're not supposed to seek convictions. They're supposed to seek the truth and justice. Then they would realize that, well, the only truth and justice in this case is if these charges are dropped, we have to drop these charges, but they don't do that. Instead, they lie. And they told the court, Laura McLaughlin, the one time Adam Lally allowed her to speak was February 26th. When I was in the courtroom, I was walking out because the fake victim was walking in. Tomorrow's also the 1-year anniversary of that happening, of the fake victim, that fucking obsessed lying hoe bag showing up and forcing me to leave court because she can't get enough of me and just can't fucking move on with her life. Shows up and I leave court. And Laura McLaughlin at that time was saying something to the effect of, what was she saying? That we've read the report and like 90, it aligns with 95% of our case or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's completely bullshit though. We know that that's simply not true. It didn't align with 90. Yeah, your report, your whole investigation didn't say anything about Proctor's text messages or Matt McCabe saying tell him the guy never went in the house. None of that I don't remember that ever being in there. Or an ARCA report saying John O'Keefe wasn't hit by a car. That wasn't mentioned in your whole investigation. But I digress. So they don't contact them, and that's by design. They could. They would be excellent witnesses, would they not? They would be great witnesses. They're smart. They're eloquent. They're well-spoken. They're experienced. They'd be ideal witnesses, except the problem is what they're saying is the exact opposite of what you need them to say to lynch Karen Reed. So it doesn't happen. On March 22nd, Dr. Wolf sends an email to pause. United States Attorney's Office hired them, and they need info on how to proceed. So I believe the exact email read as follows. Let me see if I have it here. So the exact email said, "Hi, Alan. Subsequent to our conversation on Wednesday, the district attorney's office has asked that we pause on any further conversation until we receive additional information from their office regarding our involvement moving forward. I will provide you with an update when I have it." That's what the actual email said. This is how Hanky represented it in court. He said that subsequent to our conversation on Wednesday, the U.S. Attorney's Office has asked me, are there any further conversations? Did we receive additional information from their office regarding how our involvement will move forward? Doesn't mention anything about like, why don't we take a pause? You know, that's not in the transcript. So yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem for sure. So, Again, that's what we have so far. They write the report. The defense reads it. They contact them a month later. Dr. Wolf says, why don't we just double check with the U.S. Attorney's Office to make sure this is all kosher? And, we don't want to be breaking any rules here. Then they don't talk for almost 3 months. No more communication. Nothing about, especially about payment or hiring them, nothing. Okay. On June 10th, the day that Michael Proctor gave his testimony, Yannetti tells the judge that they've talked to ARCA about background and coordination of testimony. So Yannetti tells the judge that they have spoken to ARCA and she wants to have a voir dire. So the voir dire is held on the 18th. And they fly these guys out there and they do their whole testimony, and that's great. Okay. And then they're obviously sharp. They're in. On the 22nd, June 22nd, Dr. Wolf writes an outline of his curriculum vitae, or however you pronounce that, and sends it to Alan Jackson. They have a little back and forth communication. On the 23rd, Dr. Wolf writes a question and answer outline from the report in voir dire and emails it to Alan Jackson. All right. On the 24th, ARCA testifies. All right. And they do awesome. And Karen Reed is acquitted 12-0 on for murder. On 7/12, ARCA creates an invoice. So no money has been exchanged. No one's been billed for these services. And then on the 24th, Alan Jackson's firm receives the invoice, and they call the U.S. Attorney's Office on the 25th to ask about the invoice. Like, can we pay this? How does this work? And then the U.S. Attorney's Office says, yes, you can pay that $23,000 or $24,000 invoice. Go ahead. And they send them a check. Now, I haven't seen the breakdown of everything that went on there, but he's like, it was not just for travel expenses. It was also for their testimony. Can't be. Well, it wasn't for their research. It was for their time. If you're going to pay them for their time on the stand, like, you got to pay them for that too. Because they're working. Like, they could be doing other work and getting paid, right? Like, time is money. That's what Ben Franklin said, right? Time is money. If you're going to take up someone's time, you have to pay them for that. Someone does. And then you're all looking around like, you paying him? All right. Who's paying him? Oh, it's then they're looking around, who's paying me? I'm getting paid, right? Like, obviously I don't work for free. Who works for fucking free? This is insane. Hanky's not working for free, is he? He's billing the taxpayers. And that motherfucker lied about how much he's getting paid. He said he's getting paid 75 grand. He's made over 150 so far. So they're getting fucking, who cares? My whole thing about but it's all a lie about the payment because they weren't paid for their testimony. They weren't paid before. They weren't paid to say these things. They received nothing. What kind of people, they're saying that these guys are corrupt, that they're just paid to lie. If they're so corrupt, why would they say these things without getting paid first? You know, like that, they'd be the worst corrupt witnesses ever if they didn't require payment up front. So anyway, I just don't get it. And I don't care if they were paid $1 million. Unless they're alleging that they lied, then what does it matter? What does it matter if you were paid? As long as you told the truth. Now, is Spanky arguing that because they were paid $24,000, this is the reason why they said that John O'Keefe was not hit by a car? Because when they wrote the report on February 12th, that didn't matter, did it? They weren't getting anything then. They got no promises of payment on February 12th. They just gave their honest assessment. They followed the science. What does it matter? It's like none of this matters. Like this whole, that's why I say, like, people are like, how did the day go went? I'm like, oh, it was just a gigantic waste of time. That's all today was a gigantic waste of time. Think of in the grand scheme of things in this trial, what little today meant. Like what important shit happened today? All we did was talk about fucking emails and what did you send this? And at any point, Auntie Bev can shut this shit down and say, I don't care. We have a trial coming up. Let's get to the important shit. Okay. Obviously, these guys didn't lie. I would just ask, if I were her, I would just ask Spanky. So are you alleging that these experts were bribed, sir? That they said something that was untrue because they were paid money to say that by the defense? And Spanky would say, no, that's not what I'm saying. So then what the fuck are we doing here, sir? What kind of trickery are you trying to pull in this courtroom right now? Who are you trying to fool? There's no jury here right now, Hank, because they love to say that to Yannetti and them. You know, there's no jury here. You can stop with the theatrics, right? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? So, anyway, the whole thing is just absurd. And what else do we have here? And on February 6th, Jackson called ARCA again. This contract allegedly ended on July 31st. I don't know what that means for the second trial. The defense turns over the ARCA discovery on the 13th, and Brennan makes false accusations and misleads the court on the 18th. And I love today how, he was kissing the judge's ass today, Alessi, but they went into this smart. They're like, if we come in there and we start accusing if they say what's really on their mind, that bitch, you are an unprofessional cunt. You know that? You need to you set back women's rights 1,000 years with your fucking PMSing. That's what that was the other day. That was PMSing that we saw on effect in that stage. Okay. On that courtroom. She was PMSing. All right. And having a bitch fit. That's what she was doing. And if they told her that, because that's the truth, they ain't gonna get very far. Not gonna get very far with her. So they got to make up something else. And so he's like, they buttered her up, you know? They told her like, oh, you were totally right, girl, to behave like that. You were totally right to have a freak out like that. That was completely justified because he lied to you. He made you feel that way, you know? He made you feel that, like that guy, he made your reaction to what he told you was completely reasonable because if what he was saying was true, there was a big deal. But instead, he's just like, but it's not the truth. So he got you all worked up over nothing. you should be mad at him. And he's right, but she wasn't. She's not mad at him at all. She doesn't give a shit about the lies that Spanky tells her. So let's watch some more of this.
And in fairness to the Commonwealth, nor did the Commonwealth. So, important.
Because Yanetti's overseeing
So
him.
we have a communication
As a pro hockey chain lawyer.
and it needs to be along with your retainer as required. I have the good fortune of dealing with experts probably every week. And this is classic foreign parlance. If it's going to be required, you always hope for your client that they're not going to require a retainer. But the language is as required. As. Also, if you could attach a copy of your Dr. Rentschler's Mr. Klein CD, I would appreciate it. I look forward to speaking to you and your team soon as we iron out the logistics for your participation in the trial. At that particular point in time, there was no conclusion, no agreement, no knowledge that these folks would actually be testifying. There was certainly the hope, there was certainly the desire, but there was no agreement that they were going to be testifying. That was
Was the federal protective order that was referenced by Mr. Yannetti that said it was specifically outlined and ruled that they could not prep with us for trial. Was that in effect at the time these emails were sent?
The answer is, Your Honor, and I'm going to get to it, but I want to answer your question.
I'd like you to answer my question.
Yeah, I wanted to say it.
Excuse me, let me interrupt you and ask you questions like we're in appellate court and ruin your flow, but she's not going to ruin his flow. She's not throwing a wrench in his flow. You
All
can
the
see
time.
He's ready to pivot. He's got a binder. He's ready to go. He's off the cuff. He's not reading a script like Adam Lally would be. And
yes.
Yeah, she's going to interrupt him. She wants to know if that federal order was in effect. And here's his answer.
But answer it directly. What Mr. Yannetti articulated is the rule of the road, not prep, was not a rule of the road. That wasn't the rule of the road, and I have objective proof of that. The rule of the road was there would be no substantive conversations with the ARCA experts. Okay, that was it. But the answer to your question is I do not know whether the ground rules were in effect, but I can get you that answer, and I will get you that answer hopefully in moments. So you see that there's an attempt to iron out the logistics for your preparation in the trial. Then we get to the email up above, and that is merely 2 days later. Again, Mr. Yannetti is not copied on the email, and my understanding is Mr. Yannetti is not knowledgeable about these communications. So the email reads, "Hi, Alan, subsequent to our conversation on Wednesday, the U.S. District Attorney's Office has asked that we pause on any further conversation until we receive additional information from their office regarding our involvement moving." This email would not have been sent. There would not be.
This is the one.
On Wednesday, the U.S. District Attorney's Office has asked that we pause on any further conversation until we receive additional information from their office regarding our involvement moving forward. I will provide you an update when we have it. Your Honor, this is not a direct answer to your question, but this is, to me, going to corroborate my point that if there was an agreement and if they were going to be testifying subject to whatever constraint, this email would not have been sent. There would not be a pause until we receive additional regarding our involvement moving forward. The involvement is clearly in code at that point. Why would Mr. Wolf be saying, until we receive additional information from their office, U.S. Attorney, regarding our involvement? This is just talking about mere involvement. So what happens is,
I just can't believe we wasted a whole day on this shit. Just like analyzing an email at any fucking point. The judge is the problem. At any point, Hank is not the problem. Hank is Hank. Spanky. The judge is the one that's humoring this shit. And it's like, who cares about any of this? I don't even want to talk about this.
The pause email, and it's regarding engagement.
Like, I'm bored. I'm
Mr.
bored
Jackson
with
on the
this
20th
shit.
tried to get matters started. He's communicating to.
Like, I was in court watching this shit, and I was bored as fuck. It takes a lot. Like, I feel like this case used to be a lot more exciting back in the day. When I was first covering this stuff and we were talking about like getting Jennifer McCabe's phone and Rule 17 motions and getting the judge to recuse herself. I don't know. The hearings in 2023 were fucking lit. I used to love those hearings. I go to these hearings now. I'm like, this is fucking boring. Let's call it what it is. You know, at least, I mean, Bob Alessi can enter. Like I tweeted today, he should be a high school teacher. I mean, he's too talented. Sadly, that's the thing about teachers is that you're like the most talented people don't want to be teachers because you can make a lot more money being a lawyer, you know. But imagine this guy was like your AP bio teacher. You would never fall asleep. Like he would keep the least engaged ADHD kids awake in your class. He would make it impossible for you to fall asleep. You know what I mean? But this shit was fucking boring. Can we just call it what it is? Can we just call it what it is? This shit is dull. It's fucking dull. I listened to Lawyer, today. I listened to Runkle. I listened to all this shit. It's just fucking boring, and I don't give a shit. I don't find any of this shit interesting at all. I think it's boring as fuck. I was in the courtroom. I couldn't wait to leave. I listened to it on the way home. I was fucking bored listening to it. I don't give a fuck about any of this shit at all. I don't care. It's fucking boring. Analyzing emails about who wrote what email on what day and like what they mean by this. It's fucking boring. I know. Can you believe we're saying shit like that? I miss Lally. I miss it. I miss it. And Cosgrove did the same thing with my case. I miss Mello. I do. I miss him. I never thought I'd say that, but I miss him. I hope he dies. I don't care. We're all going to die, but I hope his death is painful. Okay. I will say that. So I just want to clarify what I meant by that. I hope he dies in the most painful way possible. But I miss him. I miss his comedic value, you know, and I miss how horribly bad Lally was. Like, Brennan's bad, but it's not nearly as funny how bad he is. Like, yeah, the Lally Waddle. The Lally Waddle. Or was it the Mellow Waddle? I don't remember. But I don't know. I just find this shit so boring. Are you guys with me? Did anybody find any of this shit interesting? I'm like starting to listen to him now, and I'm just fucking bored. And I just don't want to put you guys through this of listening to Bob Alessi talk about fucking emails. Like, listen to this.
See if ARCA's willing, if they're ready, if they're able, etc. And then we have the pause.
Okay.
The next tab is tab 2.
Okay. Oh, tab 2.
Which is the very important June 10, 2024.
Okay.
Excerpt of the transcript.
Okay. Tell us about that.
The time in between, Your Honor, the March 22nd pause email
Okay.
and the 6/10/24 transcript
Okay.
is also exceedingly important.
Okay.
What happened between that? Well, to state the obvious, the trial had started.
Oh, right.
The trial started in April.
Yeah.
Mr. Yannetti gave the opening argument for the trial. Do you recall, Your Honor, that Mr. Yannetti never mentioned the ARCA experts in his opening?
I did not review the openings. I reviewed only for the non-evidentiary transcripts I reviewed. Was only Mr. Jackson's closing argument.
Certainly fair enough, Your Honor. Why do I underscore this point? Mr. Yannetti did not even mention the ARCA experts because the defense didn't even know if they would be testifying.
Interesting.
The two most powerful witnesses in support of the presentation.
I'm sorry, what was the date of the openings?
I do not know. I don't have it. It was in April.
And that's the thing. Like, Will's saying, it's entertaining to see him argue. He's got an interesting exactly. Like, he's the only interesting part about this. Him. If it was anybody else saying this shit, it would just be fucking boring and dull. Like, I miss the old days when David Yannetti was up there talking about how dare they. Michael Proctor. We're not going to call him conflicted state trooper anymore. We're going to call him corrupt state trooper Michael Proctor. You know, like that's what we miss. This shit though is just like, I mean, the content he's working with is just, what happened? We're going to talk about 3-month pause now, and the trial start. Okay.
It's like a pop quiz. She knows when the trial started. The trial started in April.
Yeah,
you know
see this
that.
shit?
It started way before June.
Exculpatory information from what we consider some of the most powerful witnesses were not mentioned because the defense didn't even know if they would be testifying. If there was an agreement that they would testify, that would have been in the opening. But the uncertainty about it is the reason why it wasn't in the opening. We didn't know what would be happening. So that pause continued.
Where Alan Jackson said, we'd like to retain you. Send us your engagement letter. 2 days later, Wolf writes to Alan Jackson, we have to pause. It's called the pause email because the feds told us we have to pause.
Yeah.
Key these areas. I start with, Your Honor, something that's not in the excerpts, but Your Honor may recall that there were a lot of Rule 14 discussions. And Your Honor and Mr. Brennan read this.
Okay, I'm just so bored. I can't do it. I can't fucking do it. I mean, I'm an ADHD kid. I don't give a shit about any of this. So I'm going to fast forward here to the second half. I feel like the second half of today, the post-lunch stuff was a little more interesting. So let's jump to that. All right.
Go right ahead, sir.
Better?
And take your time, Mr. Alessi. I should have cut you off. I appreciate that, but take your time.
Thank you. So, Your Honor,
Actually, I want to go to the part right before lunch where she cuts him off, because this was bullshit. This is typical Auntie Bev. I remember being in the court when this happened. Like, what?
That's really not close to what the email says. Thanks, Mandy. This came from the
misdirection is being kind.
Or inducements or payments before all of those documents that the Commonwealth is referring to here. That didn't come until the invoice came in July. And it wasn't even a promise. It was pursuant to the conversation of Assistant U.S. Attorney Deutsch that, yeah, you guys got to pay it, and it's okay to pay. So next on page 57, line 11, he reads, response, hi, Alan. Subsequent to our conversation on Wednesday, this is, I think he's reading from the March 22nd, but one of the disquieting aspects of this February 18th discussion is it's not chronological, doesn't have dates. So it's kind of hard to follow, but it certainly gave the impression, clearly, not the impression, it was stated that these came from the government. And I'm going to get to it when Your Honor was asking very apt questions about dates. But this is a very interesting paragraph. Hi, Alan. Subsequent to our conversation on Wednesday, the U.S. Attorney's Office asked me, are there any further conversations? Did we receive additional information from their office regarding how our involvement will move forward? Your Honor, I'm going to please ask you to turn back to tab 1 of my note, because this was a purported quote of the March 22nd email. That's really not close to what the email says.
It's not what the email said.
It's not totally incorrect, but here's what I'm going to do, Your Honor. I'm going to assume that the court reporter's transcription was not accurate and that Mr. Brennan accurately, because I'm going to give Attorney Brennan the benefit of the doubt, because I can tell you that I've had my statements in court not completely correctly transcribed by a...
I like how, because so the transcript doesn't say anything about that pause statement. Okay. The transcript doesn't say anything about that. Now they're saying that, you know, other people corrected me on Twitter and they said that, well, he said that. He said it, just the transcriber got it wrong. Okay. He's giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's like, even if the transcriber did get it wrong,
court reporter, and unfortunately, sometimes it's been on some key things. I don't think this is key at all, but I just note it. But it says, Mr. Brennan goes on, now it's the opinion that troubles me. It's relationship, and the Commonwealth should have an even playing field. That's number 4 of the time he's not having any trouble with the ARPA experts. Saturday, June 22nd, Daniel Wolf wrote, Alan, I spent some time this morning putting together a brief outline of my qualifications, blah, blah, and this is just a repeat of what we've already heard. Here now comes the important points. Page 58, line 2. Now, this isn't information provided by the defense in reciprocal discovery. Oh my. This isn't information. He's talking about all these emails. This isn't information provided by defense in reciprocal discovery. This is information provided by the federal government after numerous requests, jury requests, and an insistence, the best I can to get as much information as I can. It's incorrect statement number 2, and it's an important one, right? It's a lie. Down below, unfortunately, it gets even more incorrect. Defendant provided an outline of questions and answers for the direct examination. Please put this in context, Your Honor. The Commonwealth appears to be believing that they got the information from the federal government, not the defendant. So they got the outline, and they're now accusing the defense of having essentially drafted the outline. Line number 2. Defendant provided an outline of the question and answers for direct examination. Line number 2. Why?
This,
That's not fact, but that is
so this part, that part right there. Okay. When he went off and she made a face when that happened. She was pissed. She fucking hates that shit. But this is like, these guys they're not actors, but they're like performers. Like, this is part of the job being a lawyer, is to get your point across, right? Be hyperbolic, however. And if you're outraged, show it, show emotion, show some emotions. You're pissed about this. It's outrageous. And she hates that shit. When he does it, when their side does it, they hate it. When Spanky does it, she doesn't mind it at all. And you should have seen her face when this part happened. The visceral look of disgust on her face. The second he moved off, like she did not like this. I'm telling you.
Using the defense.
Watch this.
Of having essentially drafted the outline. Line number 2. Defendant provided an outline of the question and answers for direct examination.
That part.
My. That's not fact, but if that were true, that would be very bad.
So what I'm going to do, I had no idea it's this late. So it's 1 o'clock. We're going to break for lunch. We'll stop back up at 2.
Are you kidding me? Are you
do you think I have no idea how much longer you're going to be, Mr. Alessi? Do you have an idea? And I'm not.
I was like laughing. You can see my face there. Hold on.
Those 2 days next week.
Oh, watch this.
We'll stop back up at 2.
You can even see my face. I'm like looking in there, and I'm like, what the fuck? Did she just do that?
Are you kidding me? Are you
just cut him off?
I have no idea how much longer you're going to be, Mr. Alessi. Do you have an idea? And I'm not rushing you.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Do you have an idea? Because we do have the other motions. If we can't get to them today, we'll spend those 2 days next week.
I'm going to answer your question. I think I can conclude in 45 minutes because I have to get to the law, the 3.3a. I'm
not rushing you. I just wanted a time frame.
I will say this, Your Honor. I share your interest. I'm presenting some of these motions, and I have a strong desire not to be back here for that. So I share the goal, believe me.
Okay, so we'll see everybody at 2 o'clock.
He doesn't want to come back.
You are muted.
He was only up to line number 2.
So yeah. So she definitely rushed him out, like in the middle of his flow. Like, we all could have waited 5 more minutes for lunch. Let the man finish his point, but she didn't like that. Like, it's so convenient how lunch had to happen right when he's in the most It gives it his fucking climax. You ruined it. Ruined it, man. Ruined it. And it was by design. So then we get back from lunch and she does apologize to him.
A generous amount of time here.
What do you think? Go right ahead, sir.
Better?
And take your time, Mr. Alessi. I should have cut you off. I appreciate that. But take your time, Mr. Alessi.
Thank you. So, Your Honor, I left off with page 58 of tab 8, which is last week's hearing. And what I want to do is to go to, because...
I'm sorry, why is everyone saying it's back? We're watching it. Are we not watching it? Hold on. We're watching it. Yeah?
Backwards ever so slightly because it's an important segue to returning to page 58. So I referenced the court to page 57, line 11, where the Commonwealth said, response in quotes, "Hi, Ellen, subsequent to our conversation on Wednesday, the U.S. Attorney's," and he's quoting according to quote the, and it's good to have it, Your Honor. I dubbed tab 1 the pause email.
Yeah, so I have them, and rather than me going from tab to tab, I'm going to use my copies. So go right ahead.
Perfect concept. Because the pause is the stopping of communication. 11. Hi, Alan. Subsequent to our conversations, he's quoting reportedly this email. On Wednesday, the U.S. Attorney's Office, quote, that is the foundation of that email. And it's not merely semantical.
Hold on. Let us rewind that. I'm calling out Brennan again. I'm sorry if the captions drive you crazy, but we have people in the chat who are hard of hearing. And so we try to accommodate everyone. So I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Did we receive additional conversations? He's quoting 11. Hi, Alan. Subsequent to our conversations, he's quoting reportedly this email. On Wednesday, the U.S. Attorney's Office asked me, are there any further conversations? Did we receive additional information from their office regarding how our involvement will move forward? Your Honor,
Melanie runs a much tighter ship than I do. I'll tell you that much. I smiled there because everybody has their style. It's her shit. It's everyone's channel. They should run it how they want. You know, hers is stricter than mine. Mine's kind of a free for all. Like on our channel, like it takes a lot to get banned on ours. You know, to be kicked off of Turtleboys in the chat. You know, although I will call you cunt. You know, I will yell at you more than she will. And I didn't ask her if I could use the cunt. I figure we're all in the trust tree here. This is Melanie Little's channel. Give her a sub if you haven't already. She's getting close to 100,000. She's great. She's a lawyer. She's completely on our side. She's awesome. Go give her a sub. But dude, she had like 16,000 people on the live stream today. That's crazy. She gets crazy numbers. Like it's wild. Those are like close to Emily Baker numbers. You know what I mean? And she's got almost 1 million subs, right? Anyway, but yeah, mine's more of like a free for all, like debaucherous. Like this is like the Wild West of YouTube law tube shows. Cause I'm not a lawyer. I'm not. I'm a foul mouthed, award-winning journalist. I'm very different.
There's not one mention of the word pause in that quote. The word pause was left out of that quote. That is the foundation of that email.
Exactly.
And it's not merely semantical, it's a cutting off of communications. And it's unfortunate that clause was not quoted on page 57. Now back to page 60. Excuse me, back to page 58. And this is where I left off. Line 2. Now this is information provided by
17,000.
This is information provided by the federal government after numerous requests and in assistance, the best I can to get as much information as I can. Defendant provided an outline of the questions and answers for direct examination. So this is where I left off. That's not correct. It was Dr. Wolf that provided the outline. And it's really important when we're talking about collaboration, et cetera, communications. That's not accurate. And Your Honor, what is important to note, Your Honor asked about when did the defense provide the discovery.
And you told me the 12th.
And I want to correct that. I was off by a day. It was February 13th.
Okay.
Because it's important to try. I clearly understand to be as accurate as we can. I'm the one creating the standards that every word counts, every day counts, so I want to try my best. I may get something wrong, but I want to try my best. Yeah. So what I did during the break is I went and asked for the email that sent that request. So it's the email from the defense to the Commonwealth providing the discovery.
Okay. Yeah.
And the email is dated
all right.
February.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's wolf_direct.docx. And the federal government send random documents. There's no real accounting. There is an accounting on the face of the emails.
Let me actually hold that thought. I just have one other thought.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Several hundred periods.
What'd you say?
Evidence that
fatalities.
I'm sorry, thank you. Fatalities occurred during frequently involved pedestrians. Now, and then yes, unfortunately, there's a direct correlation between the time of day and pedestrians.
So long story short here, he basically calls out Spanky for yet another lie about this whole thing about like, the thing. Remember the that was supposed to be, in an email, I said that, more fatalities happen at night, but I won't bring that up if you don't want me to. Don't say anything, except he said something. It's just such a fucking lie. It's such a lie. He's making it seem like they covered something up that they didn't, that they intentionally didn't talk about something. But they did bring it up. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, like the fact that we have to go through this whole thing and disprove it is just so fucking wild to me.
Pedestrian facilities. Statistically speaking, most pedestrian facilities occur during the evening.
Fatalities.
I'm sorry, thank you. Fatalities occur during the evening and night hours. End quote. And then the Commonwealth adds commentary. That would have been nice to have. They had it. They had that.
They had it, yes.
Visibility work. Where, for instance, let's say pedestrians coming down the roadway, et cetera, et cetera. But that's not the end of it. They had it twice. So if we go to the
yeah.
No, let's go if we could. I don't want to take the more, the lesser significant ones. I want to focus because there's many of them. I want to get to the more significant ones. So then we have on page 60, line 2. And then a bill from ARCA to
exactly,
for $23,925. That's not a trial by ambush. That's getting duped.
Yep, he said that.
Attorney Brennan, didn't know any of this. But I tried a few cases. I've been around the federal court a bit. I know how it works. So what is the import of that statement? I didn't know any of this until I got from the federal government. And we're talking about the invoice. No, you know about it because the defense, after the certificate of completion of discovery, I choose to try to comport myself and practice a certain way and give people a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But if we're going to be talking about ghosts, illusions, and shields, I don't think it's the defense that's creating ghosts, illusions, and shields here. The illusion, and it's more than an illusion, it's a statement of fact, is that all these documents came from the federal government. It's not an illusion, it's a statement of fact. Statement about federal investigations that were these are not ghosts, we're not creating it, but I'm not going to go any further on that.
All right.
And hidden.
Yep.
Anyway.
And that's based upon the faulty premise. Then it goes on. So it's clear that Your Honor was relying upon that information, which was only given verbally, right? And you say, so for that reason, I'm going to suspend today so that we meet again, and then the rest will be back in here.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's not the end of the prejudice.
No.
So what happens
Hung out there
is
for a week.
all of a sudden, and Your Honor
Thanks,
basically said, and this is all so key. So you said, I'll see you in a week from today, and then Your Honor continued on page 61, line 12. And where Mr. Brennan, where the federal authorities have been kind enough in the past to allow me to have copies of everything.
Yeah.
Would you be kind enough to call over there and check?
He said to Brennan, call the feds and get them to send me all the stuff.
Yeah.
In the middle of the sentence is, the defense provided us with the emails. I think I said, I'm going to repeat that. I think I said, the federal government.
After hearing.
I'm going to get to the point about the importance of correcting misstatements because 3.3A1, everybody focuses on the first sentence, which is, thou shalt not make a false statement of fact to a court. The second part of 3.3A1, I trust that the court's going to hold everybody to the same standard. Being a lawyer in cases like this is hard. Being a judge in cases like this is hard. The states are going to that parties to contact ARCA because that would naturally preclude the defense from I make those impactful statements about, on the top of page 61 was the presentation of the Commonwealth that I counted had 10 misstatements. 10
misstatements.
Your Honor, pause.
10.
So
that's the big part there. 10 misstatements by
This is
Spanky.
wild.
10 lies. Also known as lies.
Can you see the steam coming out of my ears?
The Commonwealth having not given us notice that this was coming, these topics, not putting any of these statements in an affidavit, we didn't have the ability to stand up. But I will tell you this, Your Honor, I greatly appreciated the week that we got.
Yeah.
Because I do believe that Your Honor intended that counsel be given, defense counsel and defense, a fair opportunity to go look at this. And that's the way I'll speak for myself. That's the way I took it, and I appreciate that. Because that's allowed me to go spend the time that I spent to try to do my level best to give the court an accurate rendition of the fact, because as an officer of the court, I believe that is a sacrosanct duty. And no matter where the very issue is, where counsel saying to the court it is inaccurate, I wanted to make sure I could do the best I could.
Right.
Misdirections, better.
The
Misrepresentations.
court's comments go viral.
That's right.
I'm
Viral.
not saying this for drama's sake.
No, this was the good rant. Okay. This is what he needed to say right here about how the court, the effects that Auntie Bev's behavior had on the court of public opinion. This was the best part of his whole oration, I thought, right here.
Is for what has impacted the defense 6 weeks before trial starts while jury notices are out in the mail. Those words, based upon the misdirections that your court had to endure, have gone through. Headlines in the Globe, the Herald, every TV outlet, social media exploded. And these are not trivial issues. And more than that, the veracity of counsel has been called into question. Commentary of everybody about what's going to happen to certain members of the counsel's team, and whether it's intended or collateral damage. We've got the ARCA experts, which are key parts of our case. Their credibility is being pillared throughout the public domain.
One thing that I thought he missed here, because I was in the car driving, and I'm like, oh, say it. Because remember, this is the shit I was telling them to say. I'm like, you have to turn the ARCA experts into victims, because this is what they always fucking do, is victimize themselves. No, we get to be the victims now. Bring up how, and I hope they do this. Listen to me, Alessi. Listen to me. You got to bring up how ARCA had to take their Twitter account out. They were bullied into removing their fucking Twitter account. Auntie Bev isn't going to understand. Like, that's a big deal. But Auntie Bev, it's going to sound like an even bigger fucking deal because she's probably not on Twitter. You know, took our Twitter account. That sounds horrible. Not realizing that some people just sign the fuck off, you know, but it is a big deal for a company like Arca to take down their fucking Twitter account. That bring up the fact, just say it, just say the children. Talk about the children, because that's what the other side always does. Jennifer McCabe's always talking about, oh, my children, my daughter had semen on her face. Oh, no, the semen, there was semen everywhere. Oh, my God, the children and the semen. That's all they talk about is the children and the semen. There's no children getting semen on their faces, but it doesn't matter that there's no children with semen on their faces, because if you mention children and semen in the same sentence, people go, oh, my dear goodness. Well, that sounds just horrible. We don't want any children with semen on their faces, do we? Oh, no. And it doesn't matter that it never fucking happened. It's not real. But it just gets them going and it gets headlines. So this is the point, Alessi. I'm telling you guys, listen to me. I love you guys, but you got to listen to me. Listen, step at us. Lord, I see his daughter right there. Send this to your dad. Okay. You got to play the victim here. And you got to just say that Dr. Wolf's wife, his lovely wife, and their 3 all-American children were viciously and brutally attacked and doxxed. Say doxxed. They love the word doxxed because it sounds so scary when you say doxxed. It's the most overused word in the English language, but they hear doxxed like, oh my God, you were doxxed? Dear God, do you need a Band-Aid or a wet towel? I don't know. I don't know what that means, but it sounds fucking horrible. Okay. Just like they were doxxed. Their pictures were shown everywhere by by random people and all over the country who are making threats, and there was semen everywhere. There's semen. Just say there was fucking semen. Okay. It doesn't matter if there was no semen. Just say there was semen. Like just say doxed, children, wife. Those are the key words you need to hit. Doxed, children, wife, semen, all of it. Twitter account gone, all this shit. Why? Why is it all gone? Because of Hanky. It's not your fault, Your Honor. It's not your fault. You're a victim in this too. Spanky lied to you. His lies, because of Spanky's lies, there's pictures of Dr. Wolf's children being doxxed, and now there's semen everywhere. I don't know where the semen is, but it's from the doxing. Okay. It's all bad. That's all they do to me. Like, take it from somebody who's been accused of all of this shit, and none of it's true. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. Just fucking say it. Because it's like people hear semen and children and doxing and wives, and they're just like, oh, dear God. Well, you did that? No, I didn't fucking do that. But I got blaming for it. So that's what you need to do with Hanky. Hanky is not just a liar. He's not just a liar. He's the guy that doxed Dr. Wolf's beautiful all-American children, and now there's semen everywhere. Okay? That's it. And it's fucking Spanky did that. Because nobody cares. Like, listen to what he just said here. Listen to what he said.
The council's team and whether outlets, social media exploded. And these are not trivial issues. And more than that, the veracity of council has been called into question.
Yep.
There's commentary of everybody about what's going to happen to certain members.
You know, the veracity of counsel has been called into question. Do you think she gives a flying fuck if the veracity of Alan Jackson has been called into question? Do you think that matters to her? Oh, that's what she wants. She wants the veracity of Alan Jackson. She doesn't give a fuck about that. You know what she cares about? Children, doxing, and semen. That's what she cares about. That means something to her. Alan Jackson having his, reputation tarnished means nothing to her. Children, semen, doxing. Just throw those 3 words in a sentence together, and oh my God, stop the fight. Children, semen, doxing. Oh, good Lord. Good Lord. There's semen everywhere.
The council's team, and whether it's intended or collateral damage, we've got the ARCA experts, which are key parts of our case. Their credibility is being pillared throughout the public domain. And This could have been avoided.
Yep.
Had there been an accurate recitation of what had occurred.
Spanky.
And Your Honor,
And lies.
I don't know if this can be remedied.
You got to recuse yourself, Judge. Oh, go, Bobby, go.
It surely shouldn't have been exacerbated.
Yep.
I would now like to move rather hopefully efficiently to the next step, which is to
See, I'm glad he brought it up, but you just got to. I was so happy. I'm like, yes, sir. Say the part about the semen. Talk about the doxing. Just do it. Do it. And then it's like he came this close, but he didn't go the next step because that's what they would do. You got to beat them at their own game. This is the shit they want to bring up. Witness intimidation. Bro, your star witnesses were the subject of witness intimidation this week. You got to bring that up. You got to bring that up. Period. You got to beat them at their own game.
point to the Massachusetts rule and give the court my view. And I have to reference Your Honor.
Again, you don't have to tell me what you're going to do, Mr. Alessi.
I'll just go ahead and do it. My apologies. So now let's
She's
just
serious.
go to-
It's little shit like that. You don't have to tell me what you're gonna do. Okay, just let him fucking talk.
Your Honor, I don't know if this can be remedied. There's a soundbite.
or failed to correct a false statement of,
Yeah.
but I wanted to assist the best I could. So I made an assented to request and a response to a false statement of fact by Mr. Yannetti or Mr. Jackson. In sum, Mr. Yannetti's statements on June 10th, all completely accurate.
All right. Anyway, it's all. So let's get to some Spanky stuff here, shall we? Oh, what do we got here? The other lawyers get to speak here.
Here they are. I'm going to need to leave in a few minutes to just make a quick bus run, but I will be back. So please never fear.
Before I can call Mr. Alessi, we are going to take you up on your offer to ask any questions, and we may have questions for both sides of you, but actually,
She's going to break for the day. Watch.
You said I could ask questions for other counsel. So while memories are fresh, I just want to show the accuracy of what you said. So I'm certainly not going to order counsel to answer my questions. You don't have to, but I am curious. So I'm going to start with Mr. Yannetti. As an officer of the court, is there anything that you dispute that you just heard from Mr. Alessi? And I'm particularly concerned about what you knew or what you didn't know.
No, what you said was probably accurate.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, same questions.
No, and I would simply elucidate with regard to the February 6th sidebar comment. As I look back at I didn't remember making a comment one way or the other. I didn't remember that sidebar. I'm sure I looked at the transcript. I did as well.
No.
Right. The context of that, what was in my brain when I said we don't have anything else to give, which when I reviewed the transcript was very clearly the federal batch of information, what we refer to as the federal dump. I did not have in my head at all emails,
Federal
things of that
dump.
nature. No, nothing. I was because the context of what Mr. Brennan was talking about being frustrated about were his two requests concerning the federal batch of information, and that's when I was making the additional statement. We don't have anything that they don't have concerning the federal information, the background information for the art experts. That was it.
No,
I'm not going to let you speak, Mr. Alessi.
It's just from you that you're responsible for all this stuff. But the same question, again, you don't have to answer.
I mean, this is like ridiculous. Like she made them all stand up and say, like, tell us right now on the record. Did you lie about anything? Is this all true? Like, this is insane. Insane that these people had to be put through this. How humiliating.
Dispute the accuracy of what Mr. Alessi told me about what you knew and you didn't know. And I guess
Ending at 4. So he's going to get a couple of minutes to talk.
And discounting repeated or repetitive violations. When you consider the conduct of this case, you should consider the history of the case, including repetitive violations, 3.6 violations, protective order violations, and then discovery violations, representation violations. The defense in the first trial attempted and successfully did portray our witnesses as wholly independent, presented themselves as oblivious to the nuances of ARCA, left the impression that there was no compensation, no bias, no collaboration.
There wasn't during that trial. It wasn't until after the trial was over. What part of that don't you understand?
Right,
What
right.
part of that don't you understand?
Exactly,
They
Melanie.
mailed them a bill. They cold billed them. They didn't know the bill was coming.
Right.
It was after the trial was over.
Right.
You stupid ass.
And like, what were they supposed to do with the bill? Not pay it? Take them to small claims court? Like, what are they supposed to do with this bill when they get it? But like, oh yeah, go fuck yourself with it. I ain't paying you shit. Take it to collections. Like, what were they supposed to do with this bill? Real talk.
In the second trial, I'm going to get to the timing of that. But it ignores entirely withholding this information before the first trial. The defendant presumed innocent has a right to a fair trial, and so do the people who come.
Oh, the Commonwealth's fair trial. Here we go.
I'm going to go pop off. Materials. That was information that showed that ARCA was not wholly independent. This information was known to the defense, and for whatever reason, perhaps a strategic advantage was not provided to the Commonwealth, the court, nor the jury.
They didn't pay them any money. You asked them that.
Alessi talks about the Gonzalez case. In that case, there was one attorney cross-examining a witness which is protocol, another attorney passed a note, a minor violation of a court procedure. That is like a raindrop in a hurricane. We have a code of ethics and rules to ensure a fair trial.
You want to talk about ethics?
Coming in at the last hour
She's pissed.
and provide information when the avalanche has started is not enough. This isn't just about Rule 14. My effort with the ARCA witnesses from the beginning, I've been clear and consistent, is not to preclude them, is to get fair discovery that we're entitled to. I did not know
You're so fair.
14 weeks ago what the defense had known. I did not know that there was conversations and efforts made between them, and then inevitably conversations made. I didn't know that, but I certainly suspected.
There was no.
I saw Your Honor's questions before going there, during going there, after going there. I remember the conversations. And
I need to rewind it and listen to this.
I don't know what to ask. I can't send them back home to get their records or their emails or any billing. All of that was denounced. All of that was portrayed as baseless. But the court had questions. I had many of the same. Unclear relationship as we stand here right now between the history of interaction between the defense and these ARPA witnesses. You can see from the emails, while there is some information provided, there are gaps. There are enormous gaps in time. There are 2 requests that are mentioned in the emails. We didn't get all of those responses.
Anyone about this case. So I'm totally rejecting.
Any of the counsels. We did not hear a word from any of them. According to Alessi, what you should do, what the court should do, is go to the federal government and ask
So just to be clear, I am not having ex parte communications with anyone about this case. So I'm totally rejecting your request that I do that, Mr. Alessi.
It wasn't a request, Your Honor.
You suggested that I call.
No, I said if Your Honor.
It's like he's like talking to fucking Alessi here. I'm rejecting your idea that I go to the U.S. Attorney's office because he's like, yeah, go to them and ask, confirm if you'd like, you know. I'm totally reject. Like, I've never seen this before. Talking to the guy sitting down. She grills him when he's standing up. She's grilling him when she's sitting down.
I didn't suggest it, Your Honor.
I'll move on, but the point is not incumbent on the court to provide the proof that the defense was given the opportunity to bring in today to clarify the record instead. It is the typical 101, blame everybody, but themselves no acknowledgement. There's no contrition, and there's no confidence that we are going to get all the materials that we're entitled to. To suggest that Arthur's position did not change, it did change. Their opinions did change by the time they reached trial. It is not that the defense brought out that there was an expert lighting on crashes happen at night. It is the bias, the relationship that is critical, and that was hidden from the court, the Commonwealth, and the jury. It is the bias and the leaning towards one side that was not disclosed in the first trial was disclosed last week or 10 days ago. So let me offer a quick history. It is true. When I first spoke to the court, I believed the documents provided by the federal government, and I did correct that record as soon as I learned before court.
Okay, so you were wrong. You wrong.
January 30, 2025, the United States Attorney's Office responded to one of my 2 requests. They provided billing, including ARPA billing. There was billing for their reconstruction, but there was no billing provided for their preparation, travel, expenses, trial testimony. That information was provided to both sides on January 30, 2025. It seemed at that point that the federal government was being at least a little more responsive, although not directly. No bills other than what the ARPA experts did in putting together their demonstration and their accident reconstruction. February 11th, I filed on behalf of the Commonwealth a motion to exclude the ARPA witnesses. On February 12th, the United States Attorney's Office gives us new emails. And those emails were between the defense and the United States Attorney's Office regarding the request to use ARPA witnesses at trial. It's not a surprise that on February 13th, on the heels of these more productive disclosures by the federal government, we then received the disclosures from the defense, which are the emails regarding the conversation between Attorney Jackson and relevant. It is that information that should have been known to the court, to Commonwealth. Go through the comments, most of them again, but it is important before I get to the representations. Ability, respectfully to Attorney Kennedy, fine attorney, excellent attorney, who are telling me that make sure everybody gets every communication. I've been corrected or redirected, many no responsibility for the defense. When a representation is made that's inaccurate, it's clear that there was no discussion outside of court about federal material.
Because Mr. Jackson had told me he understood that I was operating from a place that so I have to say, I've never seen protective order. I received a stack of discovery.
She's never seen the protective
order.
order.
Kind enough to get to me in advance of trial last time. Because Mr. Jackson had told me he understood that I was operating from a place that I didn't have enough knowledge essentially of what was going on. So I received those 3,000 pages plus. I did not receive a protective order. I don't know that I'm entitled to it, but it would be helpful. I don't want to take it if I'm not entitled to it. I don't know what the parameters are.
Your Honor, we have a copy of the protective order. I did ask the counsel if there was any limitations to it, and I don't have a certain answer. What I'd like to do is
it's like all this shit is just confusing. Like this, so there's a protective order on the TUI report, and that I'm not sure if I'm even allowed to look at it. Like, I see somebody saying like I found this fascinating. I found it the opposite of that. I found it incredibly boring. You know what I find fascinating? McAlbert's. That's what I find fascinating. Julie Nagel saying a black blob is on the front lawn. I find that fascinating. Like Jennifer McCabe saying that I hit him when there's 3 other reports saying that. Katie McLaughlin saying that has an acquaintance from high school named Caitlin Albert, and there's all these other pictures of her like at wedding showers a week ago. That's what I find fascinating. This is the opposite of fascinating. This is boring. Let's just fucking call it what it is. This shit's fucking boring. I get boring. Listen to it. I'm fast forwarding this at 0.175. I couldn't wait to get the fuck out of there today because it was boring. This shit is boring. Fucking boring. I'm not gonna pretend I'm bored playing this, but we're just gonna get through it because I just want to talk about what a cunt Auntie Bev is.
All right. If I can have it, I'd like it. It would help guide me through this. If I can't have it, I'll just go with whatever. Sure.
I'll call the United States Attorney's Office.
All right, I appreciate it. Sorry.
The Colin Bang Bang video. That's exciting. Play that. Can we talk about that?
Neither Attorney Lally or McLaughlin ever contacted any witnesses directly because they understood that that was precluded. And so there was not an opportunity to call, discuss, or have conversations, share direct examinations, or have emails with these witnesses. In fact, it's underscored, isn't it, by the emails that we received where Dr. Wolf replies at 24 saying he was turning that nobody would be speaking to the witnesses. And I did see in the transcript, the board here was asked, were you available to the Commonwealth? And the witness said yes.
And I see people saying that like this is putting the puzzle together. No, this is like taking 100-piece puzzle. And then you take one piece of the 100-piece puzzle and then you cut that into 100 pieces. And then you spend an entire day putting the 100 pieces of the one piece together. That's what this is today. This is one fucking piece of a 100-piece puzzle, the most boring part of the fucking puzzle, whatever the piece that is, and just fucking putting that all back together. That's what this is. This is fucking boring. Boring.
I don't know any basis whatsoever for the witness to suggest that there was any invitation to speak to them. And so what we have is we have witnesses that were wholly portrayed as independent. When we look at the testimony, it was represented many times in court, leaving the impression that the defense had no access and no special relationship with the other witnesses. On June 5th, 2024, day 26 of trial, day 26 of trial, June 5th, 2024, discussing scheduling and voir dire hearings, the defense said, I provided everything we have. I can't make up discovery. I mean, I got a report. And everybody in this room knows why I can provide additional discovery for ARPA. Everybody knows they've got what I've got. Your Honor asked, I haven't. If you can't, that's fine. So not everybody knows, and I make those decisions. Response, certainly. You're the one who needs to know, and I thought you knew. The federal authorities will not allow me to interview or ask for additional information from anybody in their world. So I have nothing. I've got a report. He's got a report. That's it. I'm going to start asking questions on the report. That's it.
I can't unsee that.
He says, I don't know what they're going to testify to. Yes, you do, because they're going to testify to the contents of the report. And those are definitely questions I'm going to ask. So I've got clean hands.
All right, so you're reading from a transcript. As you know, there are dozens of transcripts. What's the volume number? It's day. I'm sorry. What's the volume number and the page number?
Day 26 of trial, page 248, discussion and consultation with Dana.
Even she's bored. She's bored by it.
The federal authorities will not allow me to interview or ask for additional information from anybody in the world, so I have nothing. And so this presentation today by Attorney Alessi, suggesting somehow that this was open and notorious, is not backed up by the defense attorneys themselves. The murky relationship that we have not done more than scratch the surface of. June 10, 2024, trial transcript 28. We're asking about the three experts from ARPA. And you mentioned,
all right,
because you can't tell from the report who did what. They noticed three experts. So there must be conversations with somebody.
How about this?
The witnesses' role. And when they only want to
talk about, all right. So earlier in the day, she yelled at what's his name for speculation, Bob Alessi, like for speculating too much about. I forget what he was speculating about, but he did speculate about what somebody might think, and she like admonished him for that. And then listen to him here.
There must be a reason why. The point of this witnesses that you've never spoken to, afraid them understand. And he said that's essentially it. He gives some detail. As mentioned earlier, we've spoken to them only for purposes of coordinating the testimony and background. The important point of this particular point is that the defense inevitably calls two witnesses, Mr. Wolf and Mr. Rental. And when they only call Mr. Wolf and Mr. Rental, there must be a reason why. You can't tell them in the report who did what. They noticed three experts. So there must be conversations with somebody explaining the witness's role or why only two of those three witnesses are important to the defense.
That's speculation. He's like, well, there was three ARCA experts and they only called two. Why was that? There must have been a conversation. You're literally speculating it right now. Yeah, Joe Flipperhead had this earlier. Shout out Joe Flipperhead. But literally, this is speculating. That's what you're doing right now. And Scott Klein was the third guy. I don't know why they didn't call him. Probably because it wasn't worth the money. It's like, I guess we can call him next time if you want, but it's like every one of these guys, you got to fly him out for the voir dire and the trial. You got to fly first class. You got to stay at a hotel, give them food, blah, 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 blah. You know, Wi-Fi, the works. You know, these guys don't go to McDonald's. And they're like, well, what's that guy going to add that these two haven't already? But again, that's just me speculating about why they didn't call him. Who cares? What do you care? What? This is what we're doing right now, speculating by why a witness wasn't called. There was a whole bunch of witnesses on the prosecution list that weren't called too. Why was that? Tell me.
And so it's clear from the absence of information, there are much more communications.
Yeah, Bev wouldn't let him testify. Is that true?
In existence that I'm not going to provide. On page, on June 18th, 2024. The voir dire hearing. The court asks, well, I thought that you would help.
I've got the transcript. What page you want? Do you know?
No, but I didn't. Almost motion to exclude this testimony. All right, that's what we're here for in this case. And the answer is that's correct. This apparently was the defense themselves. And then before that June 10th hearing, where the representations were made,
I can't listen to
correspondence,
this shit.
communication, interaction with the defense. June 21st, Dr. Wilson. And so when you look at the story on this bill and the timing of it and the details of it, we know that we made it fractions.
No, not really.
It's not enough to blame the court, blame the Commonwealth, blame the attorney's office. This is accountability.
They can't object really, but they could if they wanted to, but they're gonna get a chance to respond to this, I would imagine.
Or extended that trial. The question's going to be why? Why did they approve? Why did they?
No, it's 404. Look at her going over time.
There are a number of instances in the outline where the department clearly is trying to accommodate the defense. Their bills because they turned out they were providing testimony.
All right, you know what? I can't do it. It's like I just don't give a shit. So anyway, I mean we got the point here. We got, again, if you want the whole analysis of every single piece of this trial, I started the show off explaining the difference between me and other channels. That's cool. I can't do it. I can't. I'm fucking bored by it. And I can't pretend not to be bored by this shit. It's fucking boring. And I know some people might be into it. That's great. Melanie Little, Emily Baker, Lawyer You Know, Runkle, they'll all do an excellent analysis of this. They all will. They'll do a great job. And you can go there and you can learn this shit and it's going to be dope. I'm not that guy. That is not my dig. This shit is fucking boring. And I'm not the least bit interested about it. Everything they talked about today could have been done in 15 minutes or a fucking email. And that's it. This is boring. This is the most repetitive, boring shit I've ever seen. And quite frankly, I'd just rather read turtle chats and riff about that. So that's what I'm going to do because this is my goddamn show. So next, all right, first up here. Okay. We have Suzanne sends $10, says, I could have sworn that Bev received a copy of the protection order when she was provided with the TUI disclosure. You know what, Suzanne? I don't know. And I don't give a fuck because that's boring. I don't care about when she got a protective order and the fucking date she got it on. I don't give a fuck about any of that shit because it's boring. Next, thank you. Callie sends $10, goes, Hank is straight up standing up there whining. Holy shit. I can't even get what point he's trying to make. The secondhand cringe is killing me after week. See, that's not boring. That's fun. Talking about what a cringe, loser Spanky is, standing up there whining like a little cuck that he is with his nerd voice on, not getting anything done. Nothing. Like, let's talk about wins and losses here. Let's talk about the big picture here. What's Hanky winning? What is all this for? What is he doing? Rick Green's gone, right? Oh, no, he's back. Well, Dr. Russell, we spent a lot of time on that. She's gone, right? Nope. Stronger than ever. Okay. Well, what about the Bill and Janet Reed's phones? Did they get those? No. Lost that one. No. We got some notes. He got some off the record notes from Gretchen Voss. So I guess he's fucking killing it. Oh, wait. No, that was reconsidered. That was reconsidered. You ended up not getting that. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing here? This is boring. Anyway, Tara sends $10, goes, hey, can you look up my local corruption case? Some seaman kids were doxxed. Never mind. You're probably too easy to hear about it. See, that's a good sense of humor. Like if you come up to me in court and you're like, hey, so Dr. Turtleboy, I've sent you a few emails. You didn't get back to me. There's my kids were doxxed on Facebook and there was semen everywhere. I might give you a hug if you do that. Thank you. All right, next up. Jen sends $50 and says, thanks for everything, Turtleboy. Well, thank you. My pleasure. It's the least I can do. I love doing this shit, but I can't listen to 4 hours of email talk, dude. It's just boring. And yeah, and Peter Tragos is great for shit like that. He's awesome for analysis of what's going on in court because he's a lawyer and he loves this shit. He lives for it. And people are always telling me to be a lawyer, but I'm like, I would be really good at arguing, but there's just so much of it that's boring. I don't know. He caught the speculation by Brennan getting through because Alessi adds that he's speculating. Alessi gets told, nope, they want Arca and Jackson team gone. They want them. They're not going to get rid of Arca. He admitted that today, that they ain't get rid of Arca. I think that door is closed. And I really just don't think they're going to get rid of Alan because it's just too bold of a move. And she's not a bold person. Iceman 2.0 sends $10, goes, Dr. Turtleboy, it's been a while. I heard one of these and first heard them from Thomas Anonymous Autonomous. Fuck, marry, kill. See, this is my thing. Fuck, marry, kill. Helena Rafferty, Colleen Crawford, Megabeth. Okay. So that's an easy one. Fuck Colleen Crawford. Because obviously you're not going to fuck Megabeth. And obviously you're not going to fuck Helena Rafferty. Even though I don't know if Kenny Berkowitz did, but I ain't doing that. I mean, Colleen Crawford, the one picture I saw of him, she looks a little spicy. Sure, fuck it. Whatever. Like if you have to fuck one, it's got to be her, right? Mary, also no brainer. Helena Rafferty, look at the house she lives in. That could be your house, right? Why wouldn't you want to marry her? You get half of that house right off the jump because there's no prenups in fuck, marry, kill. So you immediately marry her and then you just kill Megabeth and you're fucking done. That's the easiest fuck, marry, kill I've ever had in my life. We always enjoy your deep thinking perspective on solving these important issues in the woods. Keep up the great work and integrity, especially not reporting or addressing rumors like fanning with the jurors or these two sources saying FBI investigation is closed without having concrete proof, aka receipts. Exactly. Thank you. Kelly sends $10 and goes, when you think about Alessi just coming onto this case, he was absolutely masterful today. He had 1 week to put together this with binders for all. He had binders, notebooks, pages, referencing there. You know, they were so organized. It was great. Awesome. Next up. Head in the Clouds Nelson sends $10 and says, just because I caught a live and ending my night with you is always a pleasure. You know, who doesn't want to end their night pleasuring themselves with Turtleboy? You know, it's a win-win for all parties involved. So thank you very much for that one. All right. Nick T sends $10, goes, I think that the new U.S. attorney is Trump appointed and someone like Dan Bongino is the new deputy director of the FBI. You're going to have a complete back the blue Judge Janine mentality. This is a whole new team that is focused on prosecuting mass city officials for illegal immigrants, not prosecuting cops. And you know what, Nick T? I get it. And it is something I'm a little worried about. I'm not going to lie. That's a great way to put it. The Judge Janine mentality. They're just they're going after corrupt cops. Doesn't get them votes. You know, it's not what their agenda is all about. But you never know. It's not just corrupt cops. It's corrupt politicians. It's a Democratic hack named Michael Morrissey, you know? So I get what you're saying, but you know, and I'm a little bit worried about that aspect of it for sure, but we'll see. I mean, the Biden administration did. I mean, Josh Levy started the case, didn't finish it, did he? So what do we have to lose, you know? All right, next up. Adam K sends $10 and says, what was it like in court when Alessi called out Bev and said this probably couldn't be remedied? That was some top-notch lawyering. Well, that happened in the afternoon, so I wasn't in court for that. But good question. I wish I was there. Lizzie Fabulous sends $10, goes, I love Alessi, but real talk, does Paul O'Keefe have a job? Yeah, he sells, I think, like plumbing supplies or some shit like that. I actually had a pic, and he was actually his girlfriend told me this is not his wife, his online girlfriend that he never met, but he loved and wanted to make glazed donuts with. She told me that Paul told her that because he told her everything. He like confessed his life to her. He never met her before. He told her that he was the job gave him all the time off, paid time off to attend the first trial, But during the second trial, they're no longer doing that. So he's going to either have to not go to court every day or just get fired or whatever, you know. So he is not currently going to get that same, you know, time off afforded to him this time, especially now that his boss knows that, like, so you're just doing this to meet chicks? Like, that's what you're going to, you're not even going there for justice. You're doing there to meet chicks. What the fuck, dude? And you're drunk when you testified. What's wrong with you, boy? You hate your kids? What the fuck? All right. Anna sends $10 and goes, check out the DUI guy lose it over today's hearing. And they send a timestamp. Well, I don't need a timestamp because I shared it on my Twitter account. And I think we need to play that because Larry was excellent. My boy Larry. Oh, we're getting close to 110,000 subs too. Nice. Here it is. Check this out.
A crab
Larry's back. He took some time off. He's back.
job. They do a very, very, very bad job. How is that the defense's fault? That the government is incompetent? For God's sake, Bev. She is now trying to cover the government's butts? I am sorry. I am livid. I am livid. The fact that she caused such a scene last week, like, oh dear me, like, I cannot believe such happenings are happening in my courtroom. How about you look at the fact that you're prosecuting an innocent woman in your courtroom, Bev?
Oh, that's good.
How about you look at the evidence? You look at the facts. She gets upset at the defense doing nothing. And this is her entire conjecture, her entire hypothesis, her hallucinations that something has gone awry when it hasn't. And instead, that's what you're focusing on? That's what's important to you?
Give it to
That's
him.
what you care
Yes.
about? I just want to strangle this woman. She is the most incompetent judge I have ever encountered in the history of our jurisprudence.
Give it to him. That was awesome. He is all of us, is he not? And he's like a real good lawyer. Like he's an excellent criminal defense attorney in Kentucky of all places. And obviously does very well for himself. But if you've seen some of his videos in action of cross-examining cops and stuff like that, he's a really, really talented attorney. And so he's not like some just ratchet guy going off like that. That's a very skilled, I don't know if expensive is the right word, but like he does well for himself. So he obviously, he's valuable. He's valuable. Let's just put him that way. And to hear him talk like that, that's not just some ratchet guy saying that. He's pissed. He's like, this is the worst judge I've ever seen. And the judge is the problem. Like, let's keep it a buck. The judge is the problem. So thank you for that. Biggleby A sends $10, goes, has anyone in the neighborhood of 34 Fairview come forward to offer their Ring doorbell camera footage? Actually, yes, they have. If you look in Discovery, there are multiple addresses, one on right off of Fairview Road, a house that's adjacent to it has given their Ring camera footage. Another one on Cedar Crest and another one on Dedham Street. They all came forward and gave their Ring camera footage, and I'm sure it was not looked at all. Well, because if that Ring camera footage showed Karen Reed's car on it at all, they don't want to see it. They don't want to see it because they know what it's going to show the taillight condition in, you know? So thank you. But yeah, if you look in Discovery, there are 3 houses in that neighborhood that handed in their Ring camera footage. All right. So next one. Good question. This was, I think, I don't know if I read this already. Rosaline sends $5 and says, Turtleboy, sorry if you already covered this, but do you know who laughed today in court while Hank was speaking? No, because I wasn't there. He called it out in front of the judge after saying he was not there to discredit the defense team. P.S. Meredith and you were looking very stylish today. I mean, I wasn't looking at that. I had a fucking t-shirt on. I wore that t-shirt. That you guys see the t-shirt I had today? They made me take it off. How dare they? How dare they? I'll show you if you didn't see this already. A special shirt just for this. Oh, and Julie Grant finally blocked me. That cunt. Finally. She's just, oh God, she had the dumbest things to say today. There it is. This one. I had to take this shirt off that said, you can't deny the science and the physics. Like, what? Okay. I didn't make a bit. I knew they were going to make me do it, but, it's true. You can't deny the science and the physics unless you're the Commonwealth. And like, actually, the science and the physics is bought and paid for. And how about this fucking sign outside of the court? This is a trial, not a dating app. What a crowd. And the weather was nice today. It was feeling good out there, man. It was I was loving the vibes out there today. I gave a little speech on the courthouse step stairs. Got a little old school. Maybe we need to do that more often, man. Maybe we need to do that next week. Get the crowd riled up. Give the people what they want. God damn it. Let's go. All right. So, next up. So I don't know who was laughing because I wasn't there. Thank you. Courtney sends $5. Says sending $5 to say sorry because I sent a lame theory in my last turtle chat. That's okay. I still love you, Courtney. Also, Jen McCabe is a lying cunt. Love you, Daddy. Love you too. Thank you very much, Courtney. It's very kind of you. She is a lying cunt. Thank you. Katie sends $10 and goes, can the defense play the same game and subpoena Ted and Kristina to reveal their sources on the federal investigation being over? Interesting. Probably not, because it's not like unless it's a witness, but there's no way of knowing if it's a witness. If it's a witness or someone from the Commonwealth that leaked this info, wouldn't that be relevant for the trial? Well, it would, but Ted Daniel wouldn't print it. If Jennifer McCabe called him and is like, Ted, guess what? The federal investigation's over. He's not publishing that. Like, I know Ted. He's not going to do that. So thank you for that one. Shannon sends $5 and says, Alessi to Brennan, suck my fat one, you cheap dime store. If you know, you know. Okay, thank you. It just did sends $5 and says, so an unexpected payment after trial is enough to burn the house down, but an inverted video with no metadata is no big whoop. Did I read that one already? I noticed Hank didn't address or get asked about. Yes, okay, I read that one already. I thank you for that one. Okay, let me refresh this, see if there's any more turtle chats. There are. Kelly sends $10 and says, oh shit, Daddy ready to read my boring turtle chat. Fuck. Okay. Well, that's not that bad. Thank you for the dono. I appreciate that, Kelly. Twister sends $5 and goes, anyone? That's not boring. I've read more boring than that. Twister sends $5 and says, anyone else find it ironic that a cop attached herself to Paul O'Keefe immediately after his texts about glazed donuts got leaked? She must have been in for a wild surprise this morning. My question is, why is she there with the O'Keefe family when they don't live in Canton? Right? Like it's wild. Did I just see that Paul sent the chick cliche boomer selfie? Oh, you haven't seen it yet, Lindsay? Oh, it's too good. You got to go see it. Hey, Paul, let me ask this to Paul. I got a question for you, Paul. Where's Lindsay? Because that's what your mama said, right? Where's Lindsay? I got a question for you, Paul. Where's Lindsay? Since you guys like asking that, but only Paul and I know what I'm talking about there. Because remember, the trolls have determined that it was actually Christy Citroni, the claim that he got catfished. That's not what catfishing is. Catfishing is when a fat gay guy pretends to be a supermodel and messages you, and so you'll send him jerk off videos, then he can jerk off to your jerk off videos. That's what catfishing is. That's not this. When it's a real woman using her real name, that's not catfishing. That's it. So Paul, where's Lindsay? I don't know. All right, back to this. Yeah, where's Erin? That's what I should have asked. Where's Erin? Where's Erin today, Paul? Okay, cool. Danielle sends $25 and says, where is the big announcement that the federal investigation is over? Another decoy? More bullshit? Unfucking believable. Yeah, there is none. Doesn't exist. Samantha sends $25 and goes, absolutely fucking boring and useless. Thank you, Samantha. You're with me. You're with me on that one. I couldn't do it. I couldn't subject you guys to that. I just can't do it. I can't. I guess that it's the teacher in me. You understand that as a teacher? This is what I was really good at when I was teaching, was keeping kids engaged in class, 16-year-olds, which is very hard because they're all of ADHD and then none of them gave a shit about United States history. So it's my job to like look at the class. And if I see any of the usual suspects who are doing this thing or on the phone doing this thing, or just don't look engaged and making eye contact, and I'm calling them on and they don't know what the hell's going on. That's my fault as a teacher. I have lost it's my job, it's not my job to teach, it's my job to engage, right? That's literally what I'm being paid to do. I'm not being effective. I'm not being efficient. They're not learning this shit. So like, I had to find a way to make sure that you were engaged in this, but I'm not a teacher anymore. I don't have to teach the boring shit. I can teach just the fun stuff. We can just do World War II all year. That's all I wanted to do. I'm like, when do we get to World War II? Because nobody wants to read about the Gilded Age or the Spanish-American War. Nobody wants to read about fucking Woodrow Wilson and his bullshit and the League of Nations. Oh God, people are just like, when do we get to World War II? When do we get to the good shit? Like, that's the stuff you want to get to. And I feel the same way with this. It's like what we're going through right now with this shit. This is like the Gilded Age. Nobody wants to read about Rockefeller and Carnegie. I find that stuff interesting, but students didn't. And you just want to get to the good shit, period. So, that's kind of what I did today. I said, I can't pretend to be interested, and I can't force you guys to listen to this. I don't want to do it. I don't care if it's in the curriculum. I don't care. Okay. Next thing. Brittany sends $5 and goes, Bev did not allow Klein to testify because he was not a reconstructionist. The defense needs to watch everything over again. Is that true? Oh, interesting. I thought I saw someone else say that in the chat. Thank you. I mean, you guys know more about this shit than me. I mean, I remember I used to be like the guy with this, but now there's just so much content out there. You don't even need me anymore. I'm just here for the color commentary at this point. Let's be real. My big thing, what I used to be able to do is go to Canton and get in these people's faces and ask them questions. That was my big thing. And I can't do that anymore because daddy's on bail and dad can't go back to jail. So it is what I'm kind of have my hands tied behind my back here, So the best thing I could do is read some turtle chats for you. Okay. All right. Next up. A couple cash apps here. Tracy sends $5 and says, obscene travesty of justice in plain sight. True that, Tracy. She also sent $5 and says, word fucking garbage. Bev, Peggy, Paul, fucking cunts. Good thing my channel's not monetized. Thank you, Tracy. Megan sends $15 and goes, just to be clear, Bev is a cunt. You guys know me too well. Thank you. Tracy sends $5 and says, no money exchanged. Bev, Paul, Peggy, evil, no good, motherfucker. That's something. Thank you. Michael John Geary sends $9.69 and says, Landon Steele can guard Peggy and Paul if Helena can't. Oh, you're an old school turtle rider if you remember Landon Steele. Go back and read that series, folks. I think it's from like 2019. That guy, he was a winner. Thank you for that one. Jen sends $20 and says, please say hi to my sister, Audrey. We love you. Oh, I love you too, Jen. Hey, Audrey. How you doing? Shout out, girl. Happy birthday, whenever that is. Probably not now, but happy birthday anyway. Gilly Girl sends $10 and goes, get yourself some electrolytes. No more leg cramps. You have any idea how many messages I got about like advice on how to deal with cramps the other day? Like wild shit. Like so many people. Pickle juice was the big winner, and potassium. Pickle juice and potassium. So thank you guys. I really just need to stretch. I don't stretch enough. That's my problem. I get really tight. I am not flexible at all. Like I'm not flexible. I can't even come close to touching my toes. And it's not because I'm fat. I'm just not flexible. You know what I mean? I could lose a couple pounds. I could like to get back in jail shape. That would be nice. I came out of jail and I was fucking ripped, dude. Like I was skinnier, but I was ripped to shred. You know what I mean? And, then you get back to reality. You're not eating healthy jail food anymore because the food was really healthy in there. and get back into it. But anyway, yeah. So I run a lot when I can, but I don't stretch enough, So there it is. Lauren, I already read that one. Okay, cool. Let me just refresh this one. Jennifer sends $10 and says maybe Helena decided to escort them to court in exchange for one of Paul's glazed donuts. Maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe not. Maybe so. But I wouldn't want to eat one of Paul's glazed donuts. They're not nearly as good as advertised. So, all right, cool. Anyone else got anything else to say before we call it a night? It's been a good show. Always good crowd. Saw 7,000 people in here. It's great to see. We still got over 5,000 Turtle Riders strong. Almost midnight, but oh, you were back with Landon Steele. He was one of the biggest frauds that I exposed back in 2019. It's a 6-part series, and that was a good one. That was a really good series. Go back and read that one if you haven't already. You're fatter than me. You're older than me. You're fatter than me. Then she goes, boom, boom. I'm like, what was that, Jill? Boom! She just lost it, dude. That's the content I'm in it for. To see if McCarthy's incident. I don't care about emails with Spanky. Oh God. All right, guys. I am going to call it a night. Yeah, Brandy Churchill is great. She actually does work to help the public understand this case and elicit support for her research. She could care less about money. Yeah, she's awesome. Exactly. And she's no like TB lover or anything like that. Like she's never been like I think she said negative things about me and I'm okay with that. Like people think that's going to hurt me feelings. I don't care. If she's critical, I appreciate constructive criticism. That's what people don't understand about me. But you cannot accuse that woman of being like some Turtleboy stan because she's not at all. She just covers the case, fairly, I think. All right. Anyway, you guys have a great night. I love you guys, and we will see you all for the next episode of Turtleboy Live on this weekend. I think I'm going to do it Saturday. I might do it Sunday because I want to take my son to a UMass basketball game, even though they suck, just because I love UMass, and I want him to get him started on UMass early because it's so cheap, so much cheaper to go to UMass. I want my kids to either go to UMass or Notre Dame, like one of those two schools. And so I'm gearing them towards those two things. But anyway, guys, I love you guys. We will see you all for the next episode of Turtleboy Live whenever. Sex Cult Thursday. It's going to be a great time. Peace to you, bum crease.